Oh, they getting in here now. Ain't nobody got nothing to do. Kayla Clark ain't playing tonight, so I was hoping she was gonna get out there and play, but she ain't play. She set this one out. All right, with no further ado, I'd like to welcome you to HBCU Coaches Corner. My name is Rocky Miller, your co-host, along with the Bishop, the Rattler, the Detective. Our trusted sidekick here on HBCU Coaches Corner, none other than Mr. Stephen Campbell. And the man you all come to see, to come talk his talk, tell y'all about what being an HBCU coach, being an HBCU championship coach is all about. None other than my man, Johnnie Cole.
Hey, hold on for a minute. He just went out the door. Hold on.
What's up, Coach?
What's going on, man? Shit, boy, another day, another dollar and another way, an opportunity, man, to, express ourselves and into this HBCU space and especially in the athletic part. And it's always a pleasure working with you two, because you guys get after it, man. I mean, you really guys have the information right there and make sure that our fans are getting quality information, not hearsay, not what I think, but some experiences that I've shared as well. And Campbell from the HBCU way back. Me and him go way back. I think, Campbell, what is it? Maybe 100 years of HBCU football between you and me?
Hey, man, listen. We know the names, Coach. We know when the SWAC was been in the SEC. See, we know that.
Yeah. So we can go way back and Campbell can speak from a fan base, a band base, a person who has donated money to a program. He knows all that situation. He's walked the campus of greatness. And then I can go even a little deeper on the sports side as well as like him being an HBCU graduate, man. And then Rocky being the outside of it, man. Really, Rocky, you so more important than me and Campbell because we got the answers and you really got the questions that you hear from the outside. So man, I don't want again, Rock. I'm a champion of this podcast, HBCU Realm, man. And I think people that comes on our show knows that we know what we're talking about.
Hey, Coach, yesterday you had a big announcement. You've been summoned back into coaching. This time you don't get a chance to recruit coach. You That's coach right. Whoever shows up. And you had a tryout last night. Cut downs was last night, and you didn't cut anybody, Coach.
Hey, man, this remind me of TSU all over, Coach. I ain't even have enough to cut, Campbell. Look, I needed 15, 12 showed up, man. So I had to go recruit the school, the hallways today, and picked up 3 more. So man, look, we started from the bottom, baby. I'm gonna have to get what my man who sing that, what's his name? The Canadian boy. We started from the bottom, now we up. Drake. I'm gonna have to Drake it this year, man. We started from the bottom, now we here, baby.
Coach, one thing I do know, Coach, if you end up having a losing season, it ain't because of coaching. It's definitely because of the players, man.
Hey, man, look, you right about that, Coach, this time around, man. But no, we gonna get it together, Coach. We gonna get it together. I told the young men that we gonna get this thing together, and we gonna have 2 plays, baby. 2 plays, man. Run right and run left. That's our run game. And throw the arrow route, the hitch corner every time, Coach. We're gonna throw it on this side and throw it on that side.
Coach, boy, hey, that play sheet gonna be packed. Look like, hey, Campbell, all of this, what we're doing tonight, man, it was a brainchild of yours, and the first person that you brought up, the first school you brought up was Southern, and I think it had to do with the person that you were thinking about when you were thinking about collaborating and bringing these content creators on to kind of share what's going on with their programs. They know about it far better, but about their individual programs far better than we do. A lot of the information we pick up is secondhand, third hand, and even made up sometimes, Coach. But you getting a guy, you decided that you wanted to get a guy whose ear is not to the ground, but he is right there in the mix of everything that's going on in Southern. There's another gentleman that's going to be on here as well. He told me he was going to run late. But with no further ado, I'll sit back, Cam, and let you do your next introduction of our first featured guest.
Well, man, let me tell you something. I got to say this. The coach can understand this. I'm going to say the reason why I wanted to do Southern University first, because a proud tradition, second behind Grambling, well, tied with Jack State of all-time SWAC championship. But, man, I feel a little bit of Southern disrespect that's been happening since the prime era, Rocky. And, the Southern folks don't move like that. So, as an outsider that understands the big brand that Southern is, I said, man, listen, we got all these people that talk about Southern. Let's get people that know Southern. You know what I mean? That's the thing about it. So, man, this is one young man. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a big fan of his. Is one of my nephews. I think he's one of the most brilliant people in this space because he can bring humor, but he brings knowledge. And one thing I like about this young man too, Coach, he understands the history. He understands that the SWAC didn't just start when Prime showed up. See, this young man was here before then. So, I'm proud to introduce Mr. Perry White of the Jaguar Journal and On the Yard Sports. My guy.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on? What's going on, cuz?
The crowd is going wild, Perry. The crowd's going wild.
What's going on? What's going on, cuz?
Not much. What's going on?
Hey, look, man. Look, I roam the hill very well. Out there at Southern University when I was out there working. Under Coach Richardson. And, look, one day I was sitting in my office. We used to be in the F.G. Clark Center. That's where our offices was. This is a little bit before your time. And I was wondering, man, it was a line wrapped around the Clark Center, for people didn't know that's where they played basketball at. They had this arena, they played basketball. I'm like, hey, man, what's going on, man? They said it was season ticket time. And boy, I couldn't believe that the Jaguars did it that way. But it was our first year. Pete was coming in the first year. I was on the first year staff, and people was really, really excited about Coach Richardson. Is that still happening now? Is the season ticket still up where they were? What has been now 20 years ago since Pete showed up? No, since 1993.
That's 30, Coach.
30 years, 32 to be exact.
Don't show your age tonight.
Oh man, look.
Hey.
Hold on, wait. We purposely show our age on this show.
Okay.
We do that
it's
on
all
purpose.
in your beard, Coach. It's all in your beard.
Yeah. So bring us up on the Jaguars, man. Are they selling tickets? Are they excited? Tell me what. Y'all twinkle to the East Championship. But that's football. That came from some great coaching decisions. What's going on over there?
I mean, in terms of fan base, I think everybody around the SWAC understands when you say Southern, you understand the Jaguar Nation, right? You look forward to when Southern come to town, or you look forward to coming in town and going to a Southern game. And Southern, in terms of attendance, has been right there in the top 5, top 10 of FCS every year. When you look at programs around the country. So, I don't think we're struggling in that area. We had a period for a second with Eric Dooley here where it seemed like we was losing the morale, right? The fan base felt like, hey, this just doesn't seem to be the right fit, even though all the energy came in with the hire. But the fan base seemed to have started to lose interest for a while. So I think what Coach Terrence Gray's doing in year 1 last year and coming into year 2 is trying to get that fan base back up with the energy again, to bring everybody back. Because if you ask me, it seems like we kind of lost the morale a little bit. And I've seen it even on the road. we don't seem to travel like we once used to. And I use that is just looking at the past few times we've gone to Jackson State. The past few times we've gone was not the quite Jaguar Nation presence that I've seen, as I say, quote unquote, pre-COVID. But most of all, I think the fans are just looking for somebody to take us to the next level. What's the next level? Winning a SWAC championship and getting to the Celebration Bowl. And I think for Southern fans, it's kind of getting that I'm tired of waiting. And that can happen, you know, for a fan base who loves to win games. And I think one thing is my man, Dr. Everett Gibson, said years ago, Southern likes to brag. You know, we like to brag about how good we are. And if we're not in a position to brag about how good we are, you know, the fan base puts the pressure on not only an athletic director, but a coach. But I think nonetheless, the fan base is still there. They're just looking for that fire to ignite. And no better way to ignite that fire than to go to Atlanta next week and get a victory over North Carolina Central.
Yeah, you guys, how was it up underneath? My guy went to Norfolk. Y'all get his
Odoms.
name from Odoms. How? Because I know coaching with Coach Richardson, you know how fired up we were. I remember the first year, and then all of a sudden, homecoming and the campers before the games, it just exploded. Because of course, you know, we started off undefeated in the first 2 years. You know, it just exploded on campus, and this is a little bit before your time. But Pete stayed there for 17 years. You know what I mean? 17 seasons, and he only had one losing season. I do, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. He ensured the fan base that every year we competing for the title. Sort of when he left, it sort of kind of tailed off a little bit as you saying that you feeling we there, but we ain't there like we there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And let me tell
Yeah.
you something. I thank you for the compliments of saying before my time, you know, saying how young. But I grew up in the 90s. The 90s was my era. So it was during my time. But yeah, it's that same thing. When you have that transition of a fan base, it's like any big fan base who willing to travel with their team, who engage with their program, and who put their money where their mouth is. They want to know what is happening in the future for their program. And what happens in the future is simply about winning, right? And when we say winning, it ain't winning 8, 9 games and saying we're happy. It's about winning championships. You talking about in the 90s, what made Southern what it was in the 90s? It wasn't only winning those games on NBC against Eddie Robertson and Grambling, but it was going to the Heritage Bowl. It was having that big time atmosphere for a bowl game that created winning championships. And then when you had the first SWAC championship in 99 with Southern and Jackson State, Southern had came into that game having not lost a game in conference play in 3 years. So you imagine a fan base who has that type of, and I'm not going to say arrogance, but pride, and you know it, you were here. And then it came on the backside of Pete. It was like, okay, Pete won plenty of games, but at that point, it seem like his time had run out. And if his time had run out in the league around us, because at that time you had Alabama A&M, Alabama State were doing their thing. Even UAPB at that time had found themselves in the championship in 2006. Jackson State with Rick Comedy. You saw the landscape of the SWAC changing, even with Grambling. So Southern fans kind of fell off for a second and was like, well, what's next? During that process, when we got Dawson Odoms, what got Dawson Odoms the job here in 2012, right? You know, at Southern, who you got to beat. You got to beat FAMU. You got to beat Jackson State. You got to beat Grambling. And if you win homecoming, I think you can get a job here. And that's what happened with Dawson Odoms in 2012, where they took the interim tag off after they got rid of Stump Mitchell after we lost to Mississippi Valley 6-0 on a Thursday night. Then Odoms comes in, wins the championship in year one, right? In 2013. 2014, we go back. But I think one of the biggest things with Odoms that a lot of people did not truly understand was the state of the program as he took it over as Southern dealt with APR problems. Remember, no spring football, limited scholarship and practice time, and he had to build a comprehensive walk-on program, preferred walk-on program, to get athletes here. Out of that program, you had the all-time leading passer at Southern University, Austin Howard. You got the all-time leading wide receiver in receptions and receiving yards in Willie Quinn. You got the all-time leading rusher and the SWAC's all-time leading rusher and Leonard Tillery, along with Danny Johnson, who went to the NFL. So think about what this coach did, and then had us playing for 4 championships before COVID, with dealing with all of that. And I think, unfortunately, with a fan base who wants to win and wants to win now, a lot of people didn't quite understand what that meant, to have your hands tied behind your back and still find a way to have Southern competing for a championship each and every season. So I don't think fans, in my opinion, truly respected or appreciated what Dawson Odoms did to take us through that period of bad time. Because listen, we all know when you have to deal with limited scholarships, you can't take on those transfer players, on top of no spring football. So after the Bayou Classic, we're done until fall camp. That's a lot on the program in order to keep a program consistently in the hunt for a championship each and every year, when everybody else around you is able to do it. And guess what? You know what the other schools are saying? They're going to talk about you what Southern can't do, right? And I think for that was one of the issues I had, I think, with back and forth with a lot of fans, with Southern's fan base, was I get what we wanted to do, but I get what we had to deal with, if that makes sense to you. And Dawson Odoms, I think, for him, wanted that loyalty from the school itself, saying, hey, look what I had to go through, and I got us through it. Now, can you extend and give me what I believe I've earned since I've been here? And I don't think Southern was willing to do that with him, which is why when you saw Norfolk State, that deal with 6 years and offering him what he wanted, I think that was one of the reasons why he stepped aside and decided to go to Norfolk and say, hey, I think I've done enough here at Southern.
Yeah, well, let me roll back for a minute, because we've talked about this, the professional coach to come in and take over a program, Stump Mitchell. And Rocky, I don't know if you knew, did you know that Stump Mitchell was a professional athlete, coach, and played in the league? He stunk. I know when I came in the league, I think we beat him like 54-6. He took that program and really, really took it to the bottom. How did you feel about that? Were you excited? Stump Mitchell, NFL coach, NFL former player, and you guys thought you had the charm of the day, and it didn't even work out from day one.
You asking me?
Yeah, you're the Southern expert tonight.
When I got here, I came from UAPB, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, and when I got here in 2010, Stump had just gotten hired. So I wasn't here prior in 2009 in that last season of peak, but I saw it from afar, from within the SWAC, from another institution. When I got here, it was kind of like that in between where, we just got rid of a legend, right? And Pete Richardson, but Pete was on the back end. He wasn't winning games like people wanted. I don't know from my perspective how much the hype was behind Stump, because Stump, if you've ever been around him, he's a very kind of, I won't use the word shy, but he's very quiet. He's to himself. He's not a hoorah guy. He's not this get in front of the media and try to make you sell it. He's just kind of quiet. I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to go to work. I think once you got past, he had us all fooled in 2010. We went to the MEAC SWAC Challenge in Orlando. We beat Delaware State. Right. It was like, okay, we headed in the right direction. Then we come back the next week and we lose at home against the University of Arkansas Monticello, UAM, a Division II program. And I was trying to tell people here about UAM because UAPB had signed a 3-year deal prior to that to play UAM, who's Division II. At that time was the Gulf South Conference. They had beaten UAPB handily the past 2 years, and UAPB said, hey, we don't want nothing to do with you. We want to get out of the 3rd year. I believe Southern picked up that 3rd year and say, man, look, UAM D2, we can beat them. Not so fast. Got their ass whooped. Now, at that point, that's when everybody started to look and was like, okay, what's really going on? How we losing to a Division II school with a mascot called the Boll Weevils, right? Then you come into the next season. And I think what they used, the straw that broke the camel's back, was a Thursday night ESPN game here at A.W. Mumford Stadium, taking on Mississippi Valley, a team Southern had not lost to in years, let's say decades, right? and we lose 6-0 on national television. I think if Stump walked off that field, he must have tried to go in his office and realized the door was locked, and there was nothing he could do from that point. So Stump never could really get the program headed in the right direction. But I think what Stump did do was put together a collection of a talent that Dawson Odoms then ultimately the next year realized what he could do to win with it. I just think Stump with what he was trying to do with a pro-style offense under center just did not fit what Southern was looking for at that time to be successful.
Yeah, see, a lot of times when we look at these pro guys, and these guys coming from the outside of being pro, they used to working with guys that all of them make $200,000 and $300,000 and $400,000. These guys are real coaches. Then now you take a job, and now you paying 40 and 30 and 75,000 for your coordinator. You know what I'm saying? And then now I've been up on this level so long, I don't even know folks. So then now I reach back and start getting my high school friends and my buddy I was, with at another NFL team, and they don't understand the whole dynamics of coaching college football. And that's 9 times out of 10 when I look back on it, and Campbell, of course, you look back on it too, because we've had more than just Dion. Dion just happened to be who Dion is. You know what I mean? But there's always been former professional football coaches and players that have coached in the conference. Unfortunately, most of them has never been successful. So, when I talk from experience about, I don't get excited about that. You know what I mean? So that was the example. So I just wanted to make sure I point that out.
Perry, I came into watching HBCU football regularly due to Dion's coming into HBCU. So I didn't get a chance to really view the brand of football and see the culture, whatever. Though my sister graduated from Southern a while ago, and she and her family are Southern Knights, and they are supporters, donors, in the box suites. I mean, they've always been big time with Southern. And the one guy that I knew that had a problem in Southern was Stump Mitchell. And that's something because he created a very frustrating existence for a lot of Southern fans while he was there. So I did know I knew that name because not only the NFL, but because I know my sister and her friends were very unhappy during that time. And that kind of explain that unhappiness.
Yeah, I mean, you want to win, right? And if you're going to make a change from a coach that you felt like wasn't winning, then you bring in another coach that you want to win, and he's going down that same path, what that creates, especially for a fan base who's passionate about winning, passionate about their football, and passionate more so than ever about wanting to win championships. When you don't have that right, when you don't have those ingredients for that recipe in order for it to come out to be successful, to taste good with flavor, what day you say, I didn't get, when you go to a restaurant, you say, I want the bang for my buck, right? And if you don't get the bang for your buck, don't you feel robbed a little bit? Don't you say, man, I'm probably not going to come back to this place, man. This wasn't what I thought it would be. This is not what I wanted. This is not really what I signed up for. That's Southern fans. And that same thing with Stump was the same thing I would use for Eric Dooley. Both with that same concept of, all right, we'll give you an opportunity to see what you can do. But at the end of the day, we're going to evaluate you on how you treat the fan base, and not only how you treat the fan base, but what your performance is out on the field. Will you be stubborn in what you do? And I think that was one of the things that really hurt Eric Dooley when he was here. The stubbornness from the quarterback position that fans just did not like at all. It was saying, what are we going to do? Are you putting us in the best situation to win? Or are you doing what you want to do in terms of your association to a person or to a certain group? And that rubs a fan base the wrong way.
Yeah, did I now what exactly? I know it was an issue with Dooley and the fan base on who the trigger man was. And it was like he was more loyal to a guy, I guess, that he brought in. and the fans were just wanting to put another guy in that they felt that could make them win. Was that some of the? If you want to put a finger on it, was that the issue?
It was part of the issue. I mean, Bashawn McCray was a kid that transferred in. Bashawn McCray was a previous wide receiver, had went to junior college, and then he Dooley brought him to Southern and basically put him at the quarterback position where with Bashawn McCray's ability, it gave him that dual threat ability, right? But you also had a room of guys in Bubba McDaniel, who was returning player from with Dawson Odoms, and then he played under Jason Rollins for a little while when Jason was the interim. But as we saw Bashawn McCray go through the season, you saw the struggles. And it was like, all right, if you see the struggles, why aren't we giving the other quarterbacks an opportunity? And it just came game after game after game where it just seemed like nobody was getting the opportunities. It was like, well, what are we doing here? All right, now we get to the SWAC championship game. Bashawn McCray stinks up the place against Deion and Jackson State. They put Glendon Bubba McDaniels in the game. He throws almost, I think, about 300 yards in the game. But we have fallen so far down. I think it was 27-0 in the first quarter, and Jackson kind of at that point had the game in hand. He did everything he could to bring us back, but we were so far in the hole, it was nothing we could do. But at that point, everybody opened their eyes and said, why had we not given this kid his fair chance the entire season when we stuck with McCray? Then he gets in the press conference. Media says, hey, coach, is it anything that you would do differently in terms of the quarterback position? And he looks directly into the camera, and everybody in the Jaguar Nation thought he was talking to them. He said, absolutely not. Now, for everybody at home and everybody in the stadium, after you watch the performance like Glendon McDaniel did in that game, there's no way you can tell me you would not have went back and said, you know what, maybe I would have tried to do things differently, because you didn't give this young man the credit that he deserved for coming into the game and doing what he did in his last game as a Jaguar. And it was just a slap in the face. Then you come into the next year. You guys remember that game, Mr. Campbell? I know you remember, against FAMU here in Baton Rouge. He said FAMU's defense dropped 8.
That got a
We
fire
all
right
looking
here.
at the film. Now, I'm at the game. I'm looking at I know damn well what drop 8 looks like. Now we look at the film. We watched the film, and it gotten so bad, Coach Cole, even the local media had felt just kind of pushed around and just not, treated right. So even local media coming up on that Sunday and Monday was like, because, he had his press conference that Tuesday, even local media was saying they literally stopped the play and counted how many guys it was that dropped. We get to the press conference on Tuesday, he's still going with the same tune. They dropped 8.
Let me ask. You said drop what? What's the acronym?
So it was our final drive in the game. It was under 2 minutes. It was about a minute so left in the game. The question was, why did he make the play call that he did? He said that FAMU's defense had dropped 8, so he made a call. But everybody was questioning the call, because it was like, if you said they dropped 8, we didn't see that. Media didn't see it. The fans didn't see it. Nobody saw it, but he stuck to that story. Even after local media ran that story for the next 2 days and counted it in it, he gets in the press conference and says the same thing. And so what happened with the fan base was it started to seem like there's no accountability. He's stubborn and he's going to do what he wants. And it almost was like playing the mind game with the fans. If you didn't play or you didn't coach, you don't know. And you can't treat a fan base at Southern like that. You can't treat no fan base like that who's passionate. It don't matter if I know football, if I played it or I coached it, I paid to get in here. I want to see a win. And at the end of the day, you can't treat a fan base as though you can't basically call them you're football illiterate. You can't do that to a fan base. You just got to own up to it. Hey, I made a mistake. It wasn't what it was, but to still, and I even asked Willie Simmons myself in an interview, Coach, did you drop 8? And as guys do in the coaching profession, he didn't want to add him. He just fell out laughing. He's like, I'll go to the next question. That's all I needed to get the answer from me. Heck, because if he didn't, he would have said no. But when he laughed like what we're doing right now, that's all I need. I said, thank you, Coach. That's all I needed to know.
Wow.
And let me tell you how bad I knew it was. Now, in the fan base, there are some, I was coming out the stadium. We had just lost to, was it Texas Southern? No, we had just lost to Prairie View. I'm coming out the stadium, man. It's some classy, man. I'm talking about some Jaguar fans from what you say back in the day. Classy ladies. I'm talking about very classy.
Did you 1 sec? Did you ever meet Mama Jaguar?
That was before my time. I didn't get a chance to meet. But if this was this type of ladies, though, like very classy, upscale, very, I came out the stadium and I saw these two ladies. I never in a million years would have thought these ladies even use cuss words, let alone anybody cuss around them. These ladies was cussing like sailors back and forth to each other, and every other word was dually and cuss, and dually and cuss. I said, man, it's over. When you get the church ladies, the elegant, very nice, classy ladies to get out of character like that, we don't have much left here.
Yeah. Now, wait, Perry, let me ask you a question, because I want to set this, because now is this the same viral video where the lady was on the sideline using all types of curse words? That wasn't that game, was it?
I don't know. You see, I hadn't even seen that video. This
okay,
was
that was
the stadium. And I heard these ladies.
This was inside the stadium, and you knew. Listen, you knew she was big time. She had the strap on. She was down there on the field, and man, listen. Let me tell you something. Cursing, like I said, that thing. I'm about to find that video just for you, Perry, because that right there. That's when I said this man. I said, when you got this lady cursing like this, you say that Jaguar finest. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, whoa. And my Jaguar folks know what I'm talking. What game was that? Y'all know what I'm talking about. But go ahead, Coach. You rolling. But you and Perry rolling.
Yeah. Man, Coach, Perry, I'm going to show you this. You see this right here?
Too hot to handle, ain't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, do I need to switch it around? Yeah, I think I need to switch that around so you can see that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the only ring, guys, that 2 HBCU teams played on January 1st in America in the history of HBCU. I got it. And we won it at 9-3. So I want to make sure. All right, cool. We coming on up now. We don't got Dooley and Odom.
Hey.
We coming to Terrence Graves. And I want you to know am I too early, guys?
No. You're good. I just wanted to take a break and let people know that we have some poll questions on the Rocky Miller channel, and I want to make sure that everybody gets involved to gets a chance to answer those poll questions. Those are very important poll questions as well. Also, I want to give you some time because it's about that time. We're gonna switch over here shortly, so go ahead and go over to the Rocky Miller channel if you want to view the rest of this stream.
Let me ask a question right quick to Coach Cole.
Go ahead.
You were the head coach at Texas Southern, right?
Yeah.
I remember, I'm going to tell you something, how you say, you guys, you had that year with all those transfer players. I remember you being on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Do you have that Sports Illustrated cover page?
I don't, but I was on ESPNU as well.
So I used to get the Sports Illustrated magazines all the time, and I'll never forget they had you and all the players around you, and they were talking about what was going on at Texas Southern in terms of how you had these transfer players. Now, if I can recall, you had a pretty damn good defense at Texas Southern, right?
Number one in the country.
I can remember because I remember watching you guys play Grambling in Houston one year, and it was a really good game. Was it? I think Greg Dillon was the quarterback at Grambling at the time.
Yep. You could right. I was ESPN has sent a writer down to spend the whole week with me, from my home to how we prepared for the game, kind of the whole week. And I was over the ESPN magazine, and I'm the only head coach that ever been there. This ring with the Heritage Bowl. Some people don't even know what the Heritage Bowl is, Campbell. And that's when you use the Black College National Champion. And this is the National Championship ring.
Did you beat Bethune-Cookman that year?
No, we beat South Carolina State. We beat them 11-6 because our defense. We had the number one defense in the nation then. There. We had the in living color coaching staff. We had Coach Yoshida that was Japanese. We had Mark Orlando, who was white. Of course, me, Chris Scott, Simmons. We were black guys. I don't know if you know, Coach Richardson coached me and my brothers in high school.
Okay.
Coaches from Ohio. So I knew
Yep.
Coach. I was Coach's quarterback as a sophomore and a junior in high school. So I knew him from way back then. Me
Coach
and his
Richardson
daughter.
and I, we talk all the time. He
Yeah,
call everybody he don't know nobody name. You're an individual.
that's right. That's right. That's right. Just,
He walk
just,
up to me, he say, "What's up, homeboy?" And then we get to talk. He even start talking about the individuals,
yeah, yeah. Just tell him you met a cold boy, and that's all you gotta say. Matter of fact, he coached my brother LC, who was an All-American, who was a top 11 player in the country. I told my brother, I need to whoop your ass because you were born too early. You need to be coming out now. We'll be millionaires. And he ended up going to the University of Nebraska under Tom Osborne. He was recruited by Bo Schembacher. Bishop know these people. Bo Schembacher, Woody Hayes, Tom Osborne. Who else could you work for, Coach? You know what I mean? Who else could you be recruited for? He was one of the top players in the country. But anyway, we're coming up to Terrence Graves, and I got to tell you, I want you to apologize for me to Terrence. And we're gonna talk about his season. I think it's important that we talk about that season last year. Terrence, I watched Terrence grow as a player and as not as a player, but as a coach. He worked under Coach Richardson, and rightfully so. He's done his due diligence, and he deserved to be a head coach somewhere. And Southern was a nice place to start at. But my comment, and I don't know if it was a question asked to me, or we were talking about some of the top coaches in our conference. Of course, you being in this space, we had Eddie Robinson who had no experience, and we had several other coaches. And one of the things Coach Rocky Miller said and explained to us that in the last 5 years at that time, we only had 20 new coaches that came in our conference. And no coach at that time had won a SWAC championship. So last year comes around, coach steps in as the position, Coach Graves steps in as the position. Evidently, he done a great job at coaching, number one. He made a great job of making the right decisions in all those close games. Those were all close games. But unfortunately, nobody else in the conference did anything else. You know what I'm saying? And I think they are the only team that had a winning record in the West. So my statement was, hey, Coach Graves he best of the worst. And it wasn't a direct attack on him, but it was a attack on how bad the West is. You know what I mean? They not beating teams over in the East, nor are they beating regular teams. So he kind of got upset at me. He won't come on my show, but I every time I send him an email or I send him a thing that to go.
What is your Coach Cole don't have no beef in the swag, not Coach Cole.
Hey, look, man.
If you only knew.
Hey, can somebody tell Coach Graves that? Can somebody tell him that? Look, man, he's more than welcome to come to my show. We've invited him the first time. Something happened that he didn't show up. I stayed with him. I brought him on again. He did a fabulous, great job, man. Look,
and he got the job.
Yeah, look, man. I'm like Stephen A. Man. Sometimes I gotta report how I see it, baby. Don't take it personal.
Trust me, Coach. I know very much as well too. And so I would tell you personally with Coach Graves. So with my show, I do the Jaguar Journal on 107.3 here in Baton Rouge, and I'm very vocal when it comes to Southern and coaching searches and everything. I was open with saying he was not the guy that I was going for. And I said the same thing with Dooley as well. I mean, I'm very vocal, and I don't have any problem because once again, it's nothing personal. It's strictly business. And so when it's business, it has nothing to do. I can sit down. We can go have a beer afterwards because guess what? It ain't personal. I'm not talking about who you're sleeping with, where you're hanging out, what you're doing with your money. I'm talking about the job itself. and the job itself is business. And I always make sure when I get on any platform, including mine, that when you in the public, as a public figure, you know you win games and you know you lose games. You know it's going to be people who like you and people who don't like you. It just comes with the territory. You can't be thin-skinned. You have to be thick-skinned in this profession when people have an opportunity to evaluate you for what you do on and off the field. So for me, I initially said it publicly on the show. I wasn't a fan of the hire. I felt like it was a lazy hire. We just found somebody in-house and we just did what we was going to do, okay? But as the season went on, I openly on the radio show said, look, I was wrong. Terrence Graves is winning games. He's doing the necessary things to get Southern there. Now I go to the Roman Banks, the athletic director's show, which I think he starts back tomorrow on Wednesday. Now, Terrence Graves had not wanted to come on the show and talk to me, but, you know, when I'm around, we see each other because, you know, I don't hide from anybody. As a man, when I see you, regardless if you like me or not, as a man, I'm going to walk up and shake your hand and look you in your face and say, how you doing? It's just how it is. So I openly said, hey, maybe I was wrong. I saw the team get better. And when I said that, I saw him there. And he told me, he said, man, I can accept the fact that if you said you was wrong, that you was wrong, and that you admitted that, hey, you didn't like it, but now you see what's going on. I said, look, coach, I'm not here to talk about the wrong and harp on the wrong. When it looked bad, I'm going to speak on the bad. But when it's good, I'm going to speak on the good as well. I don't want you to fail. I don't want you to not be successful, because at the end of the day, your success is our success. Your failure is our failure. But you better believe in my call-in show, just like I learned with Dooley. If you fail, the people going to expect for Perry White to speak up and say something on behalf of the people, because I'm a man of the people, not the administration. And I always tell people, my loyalty lies with the institution and never the individual. The individual going to come and go. The institution is going to be there forever. So we got to do our part to make sure the institution is there by getting the right people in place. But Terrence Graves and I, we sat down one day and, man, we had a conversation for about an hour, just talking life, just talking whatever. And things turned around. So I believe, coach, that things, if it turned around for me, it can turn around for you as well. I said, I'll let you say
that. Hey, Perry, this is what I was impressed. You know, first off, Perry, I want to say thank you for hosting me and Scotty at homecoming last year.
Wasn't it a damn good time, baby?
Hey, man, I say it was, I've said a number of times, it was the greatest cultural experience of my lifetime.
Hey, that boy Rocky can drink. Yeah, hey, let me tell y'all something. Hey, he'll put it away and then attempt to put it away. Hey, listen.
Hey, what you say? What you say? He got to visit you on payday.
Hey, don't tempt Rocky to a good time, because he gonna take you up on every bit of it. All right.
Hey, I'm talking about the food. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that impressed me. I had been to FAMU, and unfortunately, on the weekend I went to FAMU, hosted by Mr. Campbell. A monsoon rolled into Tallahassee, so I didn't get what I would consider a great experience because of it. Like I said, it was a tremendous downfall. Now, I did see how committed the fan base was at FAMU, because even through a monsoon, they stayed at the game to watch the SWAC championship, which was pretty impressive if you ask me. But what I saw at Southern was everything that I had seen going to Big 12 games, whether it's Baylor, TCU, University of Texas, whatever. What I saw on that homecoming was the exact same thing I've seen weekend after weekend on on these Big 12 stadiums and events. But it was just all black, man. How does it, do you guys appreciate what you guys have there at Southern as far as culture, tradition, and the ability just to afford to do it the way that y'all do it? Like the RVs, the golf carts, all the elaborate food. Like, it's something incredible, guys. And I don't know, like, people in Louisiana don't treat it like it's a big deal, but that's not how they do it everywhere.
In the words of the late Dr. Isaac Griggs, it's a holy obligation on a Saturday to make sure you are across that hump in Jaguar land with a drink in your hand, some food or a fork in the other hand, and some music going on, getting ready to go support your Jaguars.
And some gumbo. And some gumbo.
Hey, and just in time as we're talking about the groceries and the drinks, we have another very special guest. Somebody that I asked to come on, and he, in duty called, and he said, I'll make it if I can. And I said, man, come on. I appreciate it. None other than, you know him from HBCU Nightly. He has a great Twitter follow at Inside HBCU Football. None other than my man, BJ Jones.
Oh man, so nice, so nice.
Yeah.
Hey, what's
how you doing, BJ?
What up, Coach?
What's up, babe? What's up?
Hey,
Look, I was just about.
go way
I
back.
just about.
We go way back.
Hey, I was just about to go in on this last season with these Jaguars on these nail biters. So before I didn't want to let this Jaguar get off the hook over there.
Yeah, man. How you been, Coach?
Man, look, I look with these two I'm working with, man. They keep me up, man. They keep me going. I'm great.
Hey, Coach.
How about yourself?
Last time I was on, I was explaining to Rocky how I met one Johnnie Cole and LC Cole back in the day. Get recruited to Bama State, cold-blooded football, and I met you and Coach LC Cole, and oh man, that was a thing, man. And y'all had some ball players showing me around too, man. BJ Tiger and some of them boys,
all
man.
American.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Coach, he said you the reason why he went to Southern. And I let him tell the story.
Oh shit.
Oh man. So
please let me hear this story.
So for y'all that don't know, my dad played at Alabama State from 1977 to 1980. Get recruited by Bama State. I come in, and at that time, Darnell Kennedy was the quarterback. They had just come off a SWAC championship appearance, lost to Grambling the year before. And there was a bunch of guys from the Birmingham area on that team. Earl Cochran was doing this thing at defensive end. There was a young man that I'm still good friends with to this day named Ronald Dillon. We call him Rock. They had made an impact, and I was down there being that. Yes. And I remember Coach Lane Powell was doing the recruit coordinator, and man was walking around. Man, I'm loving everything Bama State, man. I meet Coach Johnnie Cole, and man, Coach telling us, man, his style of defense, and I'm loving it, right? And at the time, man, I was chasing them 3 letters, man. Well, was chasing the numbers, which was 1A, and I did something that Coach told me not to do. He told me, he said, don't worry about 1A or 1AA, man. We can compete with anybody. And I made the decision to go to UAB. I chased that 1A letter, and ended up transferring to 1AA anyway, just like Coach said it. So what Coach told me, it was true. It was true. It was true.
Hey, Coach, he said he was going to go back to Alabama State, but the coach that was at the time, he said that may not be the coach you commit to, may not be the coach you end up playing for. So
yeah. That's for sure. We actually, man, put 2 guys in the blue-gray game, which is Darnell Kennedy and a guy named Tango, which was the offensive lineman that we had got from Texas A&M. And then, of course, after that, you had your Tavares Jacksons, your Kears from Arkansas. You had Kears Williams from Tennessee State. So, man, we did a great job of recruiting and getting the people there, because Alabama State, like Southern, they love that school, man. They love that school. The tailgating was off the chain when we were there. We actually sold T-shirts and hats, and it was a beautiful thing when you come over the hill and look to your right in FG Clark Center and all that tailgate. Same thing was happening in Alabama State when we were there, man. We actually on Tuskegee night, we would stay in the governor's mansion. They got a mansion out in Platteville, Alabama. and we actually stayed in the government mansion. And Rocky and Bishop, each room had its own fireplace. And I mean, man, and then we would lay the spread, and then everybody would come to our Friday night party, the coaches' party. Yeah, and of course we would win on Friday night as well. So we had a good time, and we kicked butt on Friday night. So and our players were always first. You know, we first to start giving them per diem. It wasn't no black colleges giving per diem. We actually gave per diem at Tennessee State. You know what I'm saying? We were the first coaching staff that actually took the team on Friday nights, and we stayed at a campground. You know what I'm saying? So we did some first things and tried to we were pioneers. I could say we were before our time, and I enjoyed every bit of it.
Hey, Coach. But BJ, we talking about your Southern Jaguars now, right?
Yeah.
After we took a little detour down memory lane, obviously.
Yeah.
But let me say this.
I need to finish up on this Terrence Gray because Terrence was a real good friend of mine. So go ahead, Coach, finish, and then we're gonna come back.
No. That's what I was gonna bring up, BJ.
Okay.
I was gonna pose the exact same question that you posed to Perry. Is that BJ? What did you make of the season last year that with Terrence Graves barely winning all those SWAC games, playing for the championship, not making it? Did he have a year that you were proud of as a Southern Knight? And did you give him a passing grade?
I would say that Coach Graves came into a difficult situation, right? I think there were a lot of people. I always said that Terrence Graves last year was a one-legged man in the ass-kicking contest.
Whoa.
Because there were so many people that because he was on the previous staff wouldn't go give him a chance anyway. So he had the deck going against him. And some of the losses that we had, Nichols at home, Jackson State the first time on the road, people were very disappointed in the way in which those losses, the way that they looked. And everyone made reference and comments about the wins, the close win Prairie View, close win at Texas Southern, close win, Bethune-Cookman. The fact that we struggled with some teams that record-wise weren't the best, but some way he made it to the championship game and played a hell of a first half, and then it got out of hand in the second half. I gave him a passing grade because I knew what was against Terrence Graves. That Dooley regime left a real nasty taste in people's mouths. And one thing about Southern fans, they may not know what a 3 technique is or a 2, right? They may not know what a 21 personnel is, but they know good football when they see it. And what they had saw the year previous was not good football. It was undisciplined football. So they wanted the whole thing torn down. I don't want anything that has anything to do with what happened before. And I think Terrence Graves caught a lot of strays because of that, because he was a part of that staff. And there's still a lot of people to this day that he has not won over. And to win them over, he has to win a big ball game. You either have to defeat Jackson State or you have to beat FAMU. You have to beat one of those teams that Southern hasn't beaten. And if you can beat Jackson State or one of those teams, that will get people on board. But you got to win one of them to get those people on your side.
Yeah. It's no question that anytime a first-year coach comes in and win a championship, whether it's the East, whether it's the conference, whether it's the national championship, that's big. That's huge. That's huge for the head coach. And actually, he didn't clean the staff out. He actually kept some people that was on Dooley's side, if I'm not wrong about that. Right. And that action that took place, that don't happen. That's very unusual that you get rid of the head coach and then you hire a guy on the staff. Yeah, you might hire a guy to finish the season out, but you don't come back and hire a guy and then let him keep folks on the staff. So that was the thing that I was most amazed to me, that they were able to make it happen. But unfortunately, he happened to be on the side. Let me ask you two Jaguars this. If y'all was on the West, do y'all play in the SWAC championship? I mean, if y'all was on the East, do y'all play in the SWAC championship?
No.
Let me ask you, what place would you come in? Do you beat Jackson? Well, you didn't beat Jackson State. You didn't beat Florida A&M. You didn't beat Alabama State. I don't know if you played them or not.
We didn't play them last year.
Right. So where would you have been? And I know the first thing a coach will say, I can only beat the people on my schedule. I get that. But as a former coach myself, as we all in this podcast space and the knowledge of the game, come on, man. Come on now. I'm gonna rub your head and rub your back. You know what I mean? But we could have done it better. I know you caught that ball, but you could have plant step, put it in the right arm, and run. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. And I just want to let Terrence know that it wasn't personal. It wasn't a personal attack on him at all. I think it was a attack to say, hey man, you done some great things. You know what I'm saying? But now the spotlight is on you even more, that you got to come back this year and prove that you that guy. My question to both of you guys, I know I'm going to put y'all on the spot. What is it? Is it winning season? Is it championship? What's the expectations? Y'all go one by one.
I'm gonna say, Coach Cole, you kind of sounded like a hater a little bit, bruh.
A hater?
Yeah, I mean, you sound like you kind of hating a little bit, because you're talking about if we was in the East, what we would have did. I can only do what we could do in the West. And I know we didn't lose a game in the West last year.
Okay.
Now, we lost to FAMU. That was
Okay.
the one conference loss, right?
Okay.
And we didn't fare well against Jackson State. But then I'm listening to you guys talk about the close games. You as a coach, do you give a damn if you win by a fraction of a point or by 50 points?
Yes, I do. Yes.
A win is a win at the end of the day.
You ask me as a coach. Yes, I'm concerned. If I walk in a game and we supposed to win and we don't, I got concerns. Are we playing penalty-free football? Are we playing mistake football? We got some issues and some problems in here that I got to correct.
That you said supposed to win. I don't think a lot of people thought Southern was supposed to win.
But then how am I hating though? But then how am I hating?
But Perry,
I'm not hating.
But Perry, I want to point out something. This is not an indictment on the Terrence Graves program. Southern, I look at Southern as an outsider, looking at just the infrastructure for what they have. Fan base, facilities, and just the city that it's in, right? Shouldn't y'all expect more?
In terms of what?
Everything.
You sound like a hater too.
How am I?
You saying should we expect more? And we went and played for a
No. Okay, I guess I'm missing the pro. Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all essentially, but Perry, think about this. Y'all essentially, Dawson, y'all wasn't satisfied with Dawson Odom's doing the exact same thing that Terrence Graves did, right?
And Pete Richardson. Y'all fired Pete Richardson and having one losing season, and he went 5-6. One losing season in 17 years, and you fired him before he got home from Texas Southern beating him in the last seconds of the game.
Let's look at it like this then, because I feel what you're saying, because you're saying the expectation. At the end of the day, the word is expectation, right?
Okay.
And you're saying coming out of last year an expectation. My thing to you guys is we live in this world of this instant gratification microwave society. I have not conformed to it, even though I know we have a lot of opportunities out there with the transfer portal these days. I of myself don't put the pressure, and I had to do this with Prairie View just last week in terms of talking about year one coaches. I get it. Everybody hires a coach to win a championship. At least that's what I assume you do. right? You want a guy to come in to turn your program into a championship program. But at the same time, coach, just like all of us on here understand, there's processes to things. Now, the JG Wentworth commercial, everybody, is my money and I want it now. Respect. But in year one, my expectations were not championship or bust for Southern. My expectation, I really didn't have it. I was like, let's see how this go, because like BJ just alluded to, here's the regime from the previous coach just missing the head coach. And we got to see what they'll do, because I think everybody who looked at that team the year before, the issue was with the head coach. Defense, I think everybody in Baton Rouge, as a Southern fan, probably like Coach Henry Miller. I think I could probably attest that. Henry Miller can't do no wrong in Baton Rouge. It was the offensive side of the ball. And what was the problem? Your head coach was the offensive coordinator. It rubbed a bad taste in people's mouth. And then you get Terrence Graves, who had not been a head coach before. I just got to sit back and say, it's year one. He's still rolling over players from previous year. This is an opportunity for him to learn to be a first-year head coach. And for me, it was like, hey, give him time. Now, to go back to what you're saying, to win close games, and you saying you rather win the game that you're supposed to win. I didn't see a game on the schedule last year that Southern was supposed to win except Savannah State. I think every game on that schedule, considering the SWAC with a first-year coach, was going to be what you saw out of it. Close games. And what I thought about it with the staff and Coach Graves, where I changed the tune as the season went on, you know how hard it is to get a team to find ways to close out to win games? Ask Grambling State last year, right? Grambling was right there in the cusp of plenty of games. Ask Norfolk State with Dawson Odoms last year. There are plenty of teams who are right there knocking at the door and could not finish a game, regardless of the fact. So for me, I was okay as I saw, okay, no matter what, because I left the game early. I left the Texas Southern game early. I thought Southern had lost the game. I thought it was done for. Me and my son in the car, we driving. I just so happened to turn it on the radio and the damn game in overtime. What's happening here? But the fact is, they found ways to win games. And at the end of the day, when I look at the schedule, regardless of what the score was, when I see that W next to it, I can't do nothing but be happy to see a W, because I know for many other teams in the SWAC, they know what it's like to have an L next to it. And they know what it's like to have an L with Southern have beaten them. So to come out on the winning side, regardless of what it was, I'm okay. But it just showed me, hey, this guy found in year one a way to get this team to win and finish games. Now, in the big games, like BJ said, I was disgusted against Nicholls State. Like, Nicholls wasn't even a good team in the Southland last year, right?
No,
they had
wasn't.
2 blowout wins against 66-0 to Mississippi Valley and 51-7 to Southern. Southern couldn't even get past the 40 in that game. And Nicholls was out there running the Wildcat and whatever else they wanted on Southern. Now, and then even in Jackson, playing Jackson the first time. And what my issue was with Southern early on, if you want to see a team run the ball, watch Southern. Southern's offensive line play to start the season was atrocious. It was not there. Southern's run game was not there. And then when you look at the situation with the 3 quarterbacks, and really it was too early on. It was Noah Biden with Xavier and T-Set. And they gave Noah Biden the nod because he had the SWAC hours having transferred from Grambling. And you would have suspected that, hey, maybe he can come here and find some success. But we saw the struggles early on. T-Set comes in against Savannah State, has the game of his life. So now we're going back and forth as the season go on top of trying to get the run game. And let's look back at Southern's offense last year. Southern was 10th in the conference in scoring offense, only averaging 20 points a game last year. 4th in total offense in the conference last year, averaging 364 yards a game. 5th in rush offense, averaging 156 rushing yards a game. And 4th in pass offense. And think about this. 4th in pass offense, playing 3 different quarterbacks, averaging 207 yards a game. It sounds like you kind of got your back up against the wall. And if a coach can find a way with your back up against the wall to find a way to get dubs in year one, I'll take it.
Well, let me step on in here, because you asked me a question about what I thought as a coach, not what I thought of winning games. And as a coach, you got to realize where you are. You're actually saying the same thing I'm saying. He did a great job of where he was, but unfortunately, he was on the on the, I shouldn't use the word worse. He was on the teams. I don't, should I say they were up and coming? I mean, you had a
Everybody
new
had a
coach.
first year coach, but Bubba McDowell.
Right, right. So basically, he was maybe I should have reworded as saying, well, he was the best of the first year coaches instead of the worst.
And not only were they first year coach.
But when I see you, man, I ain't hating on nobody. I don't beat them all. Let's get that straight. I don't beat them all. Broadway, Pete Richardson, Comedy, I don't beat them all, coach. So no, I'm not hating. I want you to make sure you tell him. I want to apologize to him because I probably used the wrong word of saying you were the best of the worst. I should have maybe said you were the best of the new guys that have actually came in and you won. Because he did a great job, Coach. You can't deny that. I think you explained that, and he did a great job. They made great decisions at great times, and I get that. But I wasn't hating. I wasn't trying to take the thunder from his success. But I want you to delay that message to him, and I'm still gonna email.
Did you see Southern playing for a championship last year though, coming into the season with Terrence Graves?
No.
Would you have seen Southern going 8-4 and 7-1 last year?
No.
I thought we thought. Well, you always gonna put Southern up there.
I picked him at 5th. You had him at 3rd or 4th, Coach. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think I had Alcorn winning it.
I think I had Alcorn. All right, listen. Okay, listen. Let me get to the football. Because we have apologized to Coach Graves enough, and we got BJ. Coach, we sorry, okay?
Put some respect on Coach Graves, all right?
You know what I'm saying? We ain't hating no more because we here to talk some football. See, now I'm going to talk some football because we're in the new season. Because I'm going to say, I think we all agree that what Southern walked into, they overachieved. Now, this is again, I'm going back to what I'm saying. Southern has a standard. And I think one of the things that is going to lead into you guys, one thing I like about Southern, you guys are consistent. You're always winning, but you kind of remind me of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're not winning the big game to get over the hump. So let's really talk about the team this year. So one of the things I want to ask you guys about, and both of you guys, the quarterback position. You had T-Set last year. He's gone to Grambling. You got the kid Woods who played that looks like it's going to be next come. But guess what? In May, you bring in McCoy that actually has swag hours at Perry State that played at Jackson State. Tell me who is the guy, and Perry, I would like to get your opinion, and BJ, I would like to get your opinion on this quarterback battle because once again, as we all know, to win a SWAC championship, you got to have a quarterback. So we've seen the young guy from Georgia play that looks like has a lot of potential, but McCoy kind of, because he's a junior, has been around and came to Southern. So BJ, since you just got here, and first of all, really appreciate you being on. Big fan of yours. And BJ, the one thing about this show, you will get a chance to talk because there ain't 9 people on the show. You see what I'm saying? So we got you, bro.
We'll let BJ lead it off.
Yeah, so BJ, tell us about, let's start there. And then after that, I'm going to go into the recruiting and some of the guys all SWAC. So go ahead. Let's start with the quarterback and your thoughts.
I'm a big fan of Jalen Woods. He's a kid from right here in the Atlanta area. I had an opportunity to see him play at the high school level. I'm a big fan of what he's able to do. The McCoy kid, what I'm hearing is a lot of athleticism. He's able to do some things athletically that, not saying that Jalen Woods can't do, but he does it better. He's a better overall athlete. My concern is if he fell down the depth chart at Jackson State, and I don't think Jackson State was great at quarterback by any stretch. I think they were okay. I think they were serviceable at quarterback. And he's neck and neck with the guy who's supposed to be number one. That's either a really good thing or that's a really bad thing. I think we'll see in about a week and a half exactly which one it is. But to say that I'm concerned there is an understatement.
Perry, what about you? What do you think about on the quarterback battle between Woods and McCoy?
For me, looking at Jalen Woods, he had his opportunity to get his start last year after you had Xavier T-Set, who was the athletic quarterback who transferred to Grambling, and Noah Biden, who had came in from Grambling himself. It's crazy, this Grambling thing we got going on with quarterbacks, right? We taking a quarterback and we giving them a quarterback. But at the end of the day,
hey, that's Dooley.
Okay. All right. But at the end of the day, when Jalen Woods' number was called, and let me tell you, now you want to talk about the football side of things. Jalen Woods, and let's look at each one of these quarterbacks, because right now in that quarterback room, you got three guys. You got Jalen Woods, who's the lone guy returning from last year out of that quarterback room. You got Cameron McCoy, who is transferred from Jackson State. And now you got Dylan Compton, who's a freshman from Bunkie High School here in Louisiana. Now, let me tell you about Dylan Compton. When you look at this kid, he has the build, he's stocky, and he has the dual threat ability. Now, each one of these guys, and I would say looking at Cameron McCoy and Dylan Compton, these guys are your dual threats, which is what a lot of people like today in college football. People aren't too fond of the pocket passer. And let me tell you, that's what Jalen Woods is. Jalen Woods is the pocket passer. He's sneaky, kind of quick, but he's nobody you're going to depend on to do anything with his legs, right? Last year, he went 38 of 66 for 541 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. What I like about Jalen Woods, though, being that pocket quarterback, he's not quick to escape the pocket, but he allows the receivers and routes to develop and get the ball where it needs to go. Last year, when Jalen Woods got in the game, what did he do for Southern? He gave Southern the best opportunity for the explosive plays. Right? You wasn't no more nickel and diamond with quarterbacks running out of the pocket, trying to scramble, pick up yards here and there. He found ways to get the ball down the field on big passing plays. He did it once again this past week at the scrimmage. Now, what I do like about Cameron McCoy out of that quarterback room was, we can recall going for Jackson State up into that Southern game last year. Jackson was running a 2-quarterback system between Morgan and Cameron McCoy. Just so happened, and it seemed like to me, TC was doing everything he could to give Cameron McCoy that opportunity. To me, it really seemed like Cameron McCoy was his guy. But Cameron McCoy got hurt in the Southern game, and it opened the door for Jacoby and Morgan for the rest of the season, where you saw the separation with the more snaps now going to Morgan instead of back and forth to Cameron McCoy.
Now, isn't that kid, did that kid transfer to Clark?
No, that's
backup
Zach McDonald.
Okay,
That's the third string. That's who you saw in the SWAC championship game, and he came in and got it done with his legs as well. But then you look at Cameron McCoy, 18 of 38 last year for 310 yards, but 163 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. I think anybody that watches him, you understand he has the arm, but what do you really like him for? You like him for his legs, his speed. And he is the type of guy that you can line up, in my opinion, because of his athletic ability, that you can run a lot of gadget plays with a Cameron McCoy, from running back to wide receiver. But I think what the issue is going to hold Southern back from it, because you don't have a deep quarterback room. You got 3 quarterbacks, a freshman, and 2 guys who have had collegiate experience. If something happens to, let's just say Jalen Woods is the starter, you can't risk Cameron McCoy out there being at other positions, even though he is that type of athlete. And I think if Jalen Woods is the starting quarterback, if we had a deeper room, Cameron McCoy, to me, is that type of player. He's too good to be on the sideline. You have to find a way to get him in the game and get him to be an impact player like he is. But I think what we got to see out of Cameron is the consistency at being a throwing quarterback and not relying on his legs, because his legs got him hurt last year wanting to run so much. How are you going to survive a 12, 13 game season and you're taking that type of brute abuse the entire season? So that's where it's going to have to come down to Cameron. Can he make the throws and be comfortable, run when it's necessary, not because he wants to, but then be able to stand back in the pocket and be able to make those plays? That's right now what Jalen Woods is doing, being the true pocket quarterback. He's finding ways to do that, which to me, I think probably gives him the nod up currently.
Yeah, I really say of playing the position myself, and as well as coaching some guys that's been All-Americans, I don't like the 2-quarterback system. I just don't. Because a quarterback handles the ball 100% of the time, and he gonna make some mistakes, out there, and some of them have to get in there and get the feel of the game. I know I know this new spread offense have changed some things because, of course, you got the RPOs that go with that. But that also makes you one dimension. And that's why I just don't like the two quarterback system, and I don't like the RPO. The RPO ain't to me. It's just like the middle. It's like the veer option. It's the same thing. Don't block the tackle, read the tackle. The only difference is I'm going towards the 5 technique as opposed to reading the backside linebacker, and if it shuffles, it's all the same. It's all the same to me. And when you get locked in to doing just one thing, and what has to happen, all the defenses have now gotten smarter, and I shouldn't say smarter, they've adjusted. How have they adjusted? They have adjusted by putting more athletes on the football field.
Got faster.
So you know what I mean? Yeah, because now those linebackers that we played in between the tackles are now defensive ends. They're faster upfield guys. Now those strong safeties are now linebackers. And of course, if as a defensive coordinator, of course, you guys know my brother's a defensive coordinator. If you ain't working over an open field tackle drill every day, you ain't trying to stop nobody. Because that's all the spread game is about. Spread the field, my good against your good, and I'm gonna make you miss one tackle, and I'm gonna get 3.5 yards and move the chain. So that's why when I look at the SWAC, we've always had great quarterbacks out of there. Bishop, how far do you want us to go back? And I'm talking about top in the country of throwing the football. You know what I mean? How far do we need to go back? I understand there's a new, type of spread offense, but we haven't. When was the last great one we had come out of the SWAC?
It's been a second, Coach.
Now,
Now, guys,
I think we have one that's starting. Yeah, I was about to say we have one starting, started the first preseason game for the Cleveland Browns.
Okay, listen.
Felix
We ain't listen. Hold on. No, listen.
Go ahead, Bishop. You got the flow, baby.
I won't, because the reason why we got a lot of Southern folks, and I'm gonna say this again. And the reason why I put this show together, because people do not get a chance to talk about Southern on these platforms, just Southern. And I want to stick to that. Okay.
Okay.
And this is why this is important, because we got two guys. Now, the next thing, guys, and this is what concerned me. I'm looking at the all SWAC team. Southern has always been known. I can't believe on the first or second team, no offensive lineman. That's got to be a record when Southern, no offensive lineman on the first or second team. One person on the offensive side, the tight end. You got the preseason defensive player of the year, Givens, 3 other guys. So with you guys looking at that, and the all SWAC team, packed with Jackson State Tigers, packed with Rattlers, packed with guys from the East, what does this team look like from a talent standpoint, and what do you think the identity is going to be? Once again, BJ, I'll start with you, talking to the coaches, looking at the players themselves, because on paper, which we know doesn't mean a lot, but for people looking at it, they'll say, hey, something doesn't look like they have the talent that they used to have, especially on the offensive defensive line when you look at the all SWAC teams, and also even at the wide receiver spots. So what do you think about that, BJ? What is basically the DNA of this team going to be? And what do you think, is there going to be some transition? Because also I noticed you guys, Southern looks like Coach Gray likes to get young guys. He recruited junior college guys, high school guys. We didn't see all these guys from LSU, even though you did bring the running back in, which I do like, but we didn't see all these Power 5 guys running to Southern. So kind of talk about that, the build of the team going forward to win.
I think a part of that, to be honest with you, Mr. Campbell, is a mystery, right? I think last year, even though Southern made it to the SWAC championship game, there was not a lot of all SWAC selections on that football team, right? They kind of did it as a unit. There weren't a lot of guys that just stood out outside of Givens and a few others, right? I'm really big on this as a former player and as a coach. I am process oriented. When I am process oriented, because we know what the process is, we know how to repeat it to get success. And if that process didn't work, we know what we need to alter in order to get success. When you trip and fall into success and there's not a process, it's kind of like you just throwing stuff up in the wind and praying that it works, right? And that's a little bit of my concern. To me, the areas of opportunity on this football team was on the lines of scrimmage. Offensive line at one point last year was the worst I had ever seen. Now, they improved as the year went along, Um, and you got to give our offensive line coach credit for that because people gave him a whole bunch of hell at the beginning of the year. The offensive line did improve. Perry gave him hell. But then also on the defensive line, I think at the defensive end, you have a special player in Givens. That interior defensive line is where my concern is, because that interior line got pushed around at Jackson State, and that offensive line got pushed around at Jackson State. Hell, it got pushed around in Tallahassee. Games are going to be won up front, and I believe this, and it's something that Coach Richardson would always preach. You can have Jesus and his disciples at quarterback and the receiver position, but if you can't handle the what's up front on the offensive line, defensive line, you ain't winning nothing. And that's my concern with this football team. The identity on the front, being physical and overpowering people, that has to remain. One thing about Dawson Odoms, Southern ran the football and ran it at will against everybody. You can put
everywhere he's been. Everywhere he's been, he had a great rushing program.
You can put however many you want to in the box. And a lot of concern from Southern fans is, hey, post Dawson Odoms, the offensive line has gone from the strength of not only the team, but the strength of the conference. You talk about Southern's offensive line to one of the worst in the conference. And people want to know what happened, what made that happen. And I think that's something that people are going to be focused on next week. Offensive line, interior defensive line.
What about you, Perry? What do you see, Perry, on your side?
Well, it goes back to what he's saying. Even with that offensive line, I think that you can contribute that to the years of Chennis Berry and being the offensive line coach here at Southern University. You know, Southern kept 2 or 3 offensive linemen on all SWAC first team, second team every single year. You can depend on that. And you knew that was going to happen. And I think as you transition now, Damon Nivens is now the offensive line coach. He was a great offensive lineman here at Southern, you know, won a championship and some more stuff. Now it's seeing what can he do as the offensive line coach to develop this line to be what we've seen them be. Because listen, at Southern, if it wasn't nothing else, you knew we had a strength was literally what BJ just said was O-line. No doubt about it. Now to see the O-line struggle and what your strength was, I use that like LSU, the same thing. DBU, when you don't see no good DBs at LSU, you say there's a damn problem here because we got a history of being able to develop guys and put them out there. Have that same mindset. That's what we're having here at Southern when you look at that O-line. And when you look at them last year against that defense against Jackson, because listen, Jackson compared to everybody else, Southern has enough talent to finesse most teams in this conference. Would you guys agree with that? Just the depth of the team and the talent, there's enough to finesse it. And I think it goes back to when y'all was saying about those close games. Southern found a way to finesse those games because there was no clear-cut winner at the quarterback position. So how else did we win those games? Right? And we know in this conference, if you're going to win a championship, you got to have a quarterback. What we've seen in the past, typically the best quarterback wins the championship. Now let's look at the running back room. We talk about that offensive line, but you got to have somebody to block for those running backs. We didn't have that early on in the season last year. So with Kobe Dillon and Kendrick Grimes couldn't get together, combined 100 yards total for Southern offensively rushing the ball in those first couple games. The question then went right to that O-line. What is going on? The chemistry. You add in Trey Holly, a former 4-star running back, Louisiana's all-time leading high school rusher, right? He rushed for 110 yards last year at LSU transfer in. You talk about Mike Franklin, 6'2", big guy, coming in, transferring from Jacksonville State. You're talking about Princeton K transferring in from Louisiana Tech. Then you got the guys that's already there. Barry Remo from Catholic High School in Baton Rouge, and then Jason Gabriel at running back. But to me, he's an athlete. You can pretty much line him up anywhere around the field. He has that athletic ability for him at Southern, coming from John Curtis down in New Orleans. That running back room, and then you factor in Asbury coming in from Southern Lab. They are deep. I think what Southern did was had to go out and find the backs that they needed to be able to take the pressure off the quarterback. What's going to have to happen for them, they're going to have that O-line gel and come together. Then you bring in the receivers. Who they want at the wide receiver crew this year, the wide receiver to be the top dog, is my man Dion say, that dog. Darren Morris, who had 400 receiving plus yards last year. Then you factor in Dupree Fuller, who probably has the best hands on the team. Puts me in the mind of a guy by the name of Ethan Howard, if you guys can remember him at Southern University as the tight end. When they get off the bus in the uniform, they looked as advertised. But I think offensively, it's going to start and it's going to end with the O-line. I think the talent is there. It's going to start with that O-line and then look on the defensive line like BJ just said. The interior, you got a guy like Darren Scott. You got a guy, Jerome Wallace. These are guys that's going to have to create pressure to get to quarterbacks along with those edge rushers to be able to make quarterbacks uncomfortable. And why you do that in this conference, we just talked about it. Quarterbacks aren't what they used to be in this conference, Coach Cole. We have a lot of inconsistency at this quarterback position in this conference, and we saw that last year. This was a league of no good quarterbacks except maybe Jacoby and Morgan last year. Would you guys agree?
Now, wait, we got to get Richardson was first team, and Richardson.
The boy from FAMU was nice.
You had Mekhi Hagan at UAPB. Yeah. But it just goes to show it was tough. Now, look on the defensive side, at least even with the DBs. Now, this is where it's going to be Southern's strength next year. Southern's defensive backfield, listen, let's talk about defense, pass defense. They were number one in the conference last year, giving up an average of 152 yards a game. Southern's pass defense was fifth in all of FCS last year, right? You're talking about a guy, Herman Bristol, who transferred in from Air Force. You factor in Horatio Johnson, who's coming back, had 74 tackles last year. You're talking about Elijah West, who led the SWAC in 10 pass breakups last year. Then you factor in a guy like Eric Reed, Xavier Spencer, along with you got a transfer from Prairie View and Traylon James, and another transfer from Southern Miss and Zay Franks. Southern's identity is going to be defense, and that's what it's been for the past 2-3 years under Coach Henry Miller. It has been the defense that has kept Southern alive. I'm going to tell you an area that Southern has to improve on, and people have missed over it, but it was what Jackson State used last year: special teams. It has been a while. What'd you say,
Special teams.
Special teams. Southern has not had that playmaker, impact playmaker in the return game for them. Southern has to have the Travis Terrell Jr. That is the reason why he is that guy at Jackson State. On top of, you look at the kicking game that they had. They had a kicker kicking, 50 yards last year from anywhere, left or right hash, anywhere else. Southern has to improve in the special team. If you want to win a championship coming up this year, you have to look at Jackson State, who is the only SWAC team in the FCS top 25 at number 17. You know why? What Jackson State did better than everybody last year in this conference was played all three phases of the game better than everybody. They were consistent and balanced on offense with the run game with Irv Mulligan, and then not forcing everything on Jacoby and Morgan, right? He was just a playmaker when it had to happen with the receiver core around him. And then defensively, they were just nasty defense, right? You look at that defensive backfield, but up front was where I really just had to look. I mean, when I walked down that sideline last year, BJ, and in that first game, I really noticed again in that SWAC championship. I'm like, damn, where did they get these guys from? They look like an FCS team, and then you factor in special teams. And I think for Southern, this is what's going to be the thing coming in as we move forward under Terrence Graves. Can Southern look like and be built into an FCS top 25 team? Because the conversation is, are we just going to be SWAC good, or are we going to be a good football team, period? Because there's no way these years we go to a SWAC championship, but we lose to the likes of a Northwestern State, a likes of a McNeese, a likes of a Nichols. And then when you look at those teams in that same season, you're going to play for a championship and consider one of the best teams in Black college football, but yet you get blew out and left in the dust by teams who barely finished the middle of the pack in the Southland Conference. So coming in with everything I'm saying, with the talent and building this team, the identity is going to be defense, but can Southern get its offensive identity under Mark Frederick in year 2? Because last year we knew what it was, inside zone. It was inside zone. Even the fans knew it was inside zone. They didn't take no rocket scientists to know that. But can we get that? And can Southern play up to an FCS top 25 team? That's what you get out of the likes of a North Carolina Central, a South Carolina State, as well as a Jackson State right here in this conference.
You know, Perry, one of the things that that I was impressed with when I was at Southern during homecoming is that when I was up in the suite, or I don't know what they call it in the fan base up there was very engaged, very positive about the team and the coaching staff. Maybe that's because all the coaches' wives was in that suite area as well.
They not trying
Using
to
the end zone?
Cole and piss nobody off, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Coach Miller's wife was there. Coach Cole's good friend, Miss Totten. I got a chance to meet her and a few other guys. Actually, Omarosa was even in in that area. I don't know who she married to on the staff, but no, I'm just joking.
She's in law school at Southern University.
That's a joke. That's a joke. But
yeah,
she was at
Southern Law.
Okay, well, she was in that suite area. But man, I was just so impressed with just how engaged the fan base was and how everybody seemed to be quite positive about what was going on at Southern. In a sense, was in this rate, BJ and Perry, any good outcome they got, they were gonna be happy with. You know what I mean? It ain't like they had these high expectations, but they were like, you know how it was, Perry, over there when we were just having a good time. It wasn't a lot of pressure or anxiety about whether or not you guys would beat Alcorn. It was just about any positive outcome we get, we're gonna be okay with it. Is that typically how the Southern fan base operated, or was that unique to the situation last year?
That was unique to that section that you was in.
Yeah.
No, but it was the same way. No, it was the same way in the tailgate, though. Remember when we were talking in the tailgate period? People didn't have a lot of pressure about they was worried about the gumbo, the fried rice. I mean, not the fried rice, the dirty rice, and you know what I'm saying? And I was saying, hey, y'all gonna win today. They was like, we hoping we gonna win.
But
you know what I mean?
Let me tell you, you was up in the confines of air, food, alcohol, right? You was in a good place.
You didn't come to 9 West.
No, come on down there, right? Come on down there to the stadium and get in the mix. Get in the heart of it. It's gonna be you're gonna be down there with the old ladies I was telling that was cussing after doing It ain't gonna be so much easy down there. See, those people are distracted up there where you at. Even though they engaged in the game, they just happy to be here because guess what? All the amenities that you're enjoying it now. That's one thing at Southern. We like to have a good time, right? We're gonna enjoy that. But when you get into those stands, the fans are passionate about the Jaguars. And they want to win. But like BJ said before, people understand good football when they watch it. We in South Louisiana. Come on. People, we understand we in SEC country. Come on. Not only that, people watch what they watch when we're looking for good football. You can't go out there and try to trick Southern fans and act like pull away. And that was what Dooley's problem was.
Well, y'all tell me this here, guys, because this is just again, I'm an outsider, so I don't know all the history and all that kind of stuff. But in my opinion, y'all have championship energy, championship support, championship environment, championship pedigree. Why in the last 5-6 years I haven't experienced Southern winning a championship?
Championships are won by organizations. They're not won by teams. And without going too far,
I know
we'll tell all our business. We'll tell all our business. The organization in the line to win a championship. There are some people high in the organization that are happy by something that someone said in the chat, is that we have people in the organization bragging about finishing top 4 in the SWAC. And that wasn't a Southern standard years ago. Southern folks will tell you that SWAC stands for Southern Wins Another Championship. Well, that mentality is not in the suits anymore. It's not in the decision making anymore. And that's why I always tell people Terrence Graves is in a tough predicament because people are linking him to the previous regime. And he's catching a lot of hate because of that. And I'm like, man, you got to give Coach Graves a shot. I'm gonna give you an example. When we went to Jackson for that championship game, that was probably the lowest attended Southern Jackson State game I've ever seen. And it was our fans that didn't show up. And a lot of our fans didn't show up because they didn't think that there was a realistic chance for us to beat Jackson State. So they didn't want to waste time, money, nor effort. That's a bad thing when Jaguar Nation starts feeling like that. And me and Perry said this. The only way that you get them back is that you have to win a big game. Do y'all know what Southern's record is post Dawson Odoms against teams in the SWAC that finish 500 or better?
I do. Because I know two of them y'all ain't beat since we've been there. And that's Jackson State and FAMU. So I know we've been over 5. So you can add that right there.
It's
Absolutely.
like it's like 3-16. Right? So what you're
So I
telling me
was
is,
right. So I am right.
so
I ain't hating.
Hold on, Coach. Let the man finish his point.
So what fans are looking at is that you're beating up on the people you're supposed to beat up on. But when there's a bully of equal value or maybe a little bit bigger than you fold up. And that's not Jaguar Nation. As arrogant as Southern folks are, that ain't Jaguar Nation. So we got to get them people back on board, and it starts next week. Got to have a good showing on next week.
BJ, let me tie into something, and we're going, and this is one of the things I know we had you guys, but I think it's important because we want to go to schedule. But I want to point something out because, see, me and Coach BJ, you played there, Perry, you went there. When Southern is kind of where, like you said, first of all, you haven't won a SWAC championship since 2013. I already know what that's about. You had this long winning streak against Jackson State. Now Jackson State has gone on a winning streak against you guys. Mm-hmm. Like you said, you have not beat the name teams. Now, here's what I'm going to put out there. Now, they've got you guys, depending on where you poll you look at, they got you guys number 3, overall HBCUs, number 4. But I'm sitting up here looking at, and these are the teams that you guys are going to have on your schedule. You got to play Jackson State. You got to play Central. You got to play Alabama State. You got to play Florida State. Florida A&M. I'm sorry. Alcorn and Prairie View. Stan Beckton has them in his top 10, and you're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those teams. 6 of those teams that Stan Beckton says is going to be the top 10 teams. You start, and you know what, Rocky, why don't you go and pull up the schedule now?
Okay.
And you start off, which I think to me is one of those games that is just critical for Southern. And this is, to me, the 2 games I think, well, actually, and I'm going to put a third almost down the line a little bit. Prairie View playing Texas Southern and you guys playing Central, to me, is going to define what your schedule is, because you guys do not catch a break this whole season. So I wanted to start off with that. So Perry and BJ playing an out-of-conference team, a hard-nosed, well-coached team right out the gate in Atlanta. And you guys have been in Atlanta, I think, since 2012. So we know Jaguar Nation is going to show up. I heard a joke that Jackson State is having a tailgate just so you guys can eat free, and it's not their game. So all this pressure, I believe, is on you guys to win this game. So what do you guys just starting off with this game playing Central? And BJ, I know you're over there with Josh. I know he's had this conversation with you and Perry. What do you guys think about this game right here starting off with a team that's ranked in the top 5?
For me, this sets up what I consider, if you look at, like you said, most of these polls, this is a top 5 HBCU matchup. These are 2 teams who were both 1 game away from the Celebration Bowl last year. If North Carolina Central doesn't lose to South Carolina State, they're in the Celebration Bowl. If Southern in the SWAC championship does not lose to Jackson State, they're in the Celebration Bowl. So the matchup itself sets up 2 teams with programs that you have seen competing for possible championships. And for me, I get bored out, and I'm going to speak from a fan's perspective. I'm going to take all this other stuff away. I get bored out from beating the teams, as Coach Cole alluded to earlier, that we're supposed to be, right? When I look at the schedule, considering, okay, now this is the Southern arrogance, right? Or I say pride. It's just certain schools, when you look at it, you just say, post a big deal, because history has traditionally written that this is what we do. At some point, show me something outside of the SWAC. And that's how I feel. Because we're not just a SWAC school, we're an FCS school. And for me, North Carolina Central has shown it goes beyond the MEAC with them when they're talking about out of conference with Trey Oliver and them going out to be able to go get those victories. I mean, the committee left them out of the FCS playoffs last year and chose Tennessee State, who was the lone HBCU in the playoffs who had to go play Montana. They did not feel the strength of schedule for North Carolina Central last year was strong enough. But I think if you look in the past, since Trey Oliver has been there and even before, North Carolina Central has no problem going out playing formidable opponents within the FCS space. For Southern, when we play any team outside of the SWAC space in the FCS arena, we seem to always fall flat on our face. And for me, it's saying, who are we really as a program? And it goes to that conversation, or do we just want to be SWAC good? Because the number one thing that's going to happen if you lose the game, well, it wasn't a SWAC game. That bothers me because I can understand my wins in the SWAC because, yes, I want to play for a SWAC championship and ultimately a Black College National Championship at the Celebration Bowl. But I look forward to having a program, no matter what, that is formidable. I want to go places and people worried about more than damn if my band coming. They put respect on the fact that my football team is coming. That's where I'm at with it. And Southern is long overdue, in my opinion, for an out-of-conference FCS victory for a team that's not in the SWAC. This game against North Carolina Central, considering the pedigree that they are now under Coach Trey Oliver, they just won a Black College National Championship a couple years ago, beating Jackson State and Deion Sanders. For me, this has to be that game. I had that same sentiment last year on my show talking about Southern versus McNeese. Southern has never beaten McNeese State, who's an in-state FCS school who has tradition and is rich in terms of a winning program in the history of this school. To me, that was a big game. You change things when you go get those victories. The same way when you had Nichols. You change things when you get those victories. The same way with North Carolina Central. You change things with your program when you do those things. And for me, Southern is long overdue for it. This is a must-win game for Southern to me. Now, I'm not going to use this like year one. I'm coming into year two. You wanted this matchup. You got it. It's on ABC. The bright lights, everything. This is an opportunity for your brand, your football team, and most of all, your school to be able to put itself for the nation to see Southern got a really good program. It's a must win because since we've been on TV in those big games, I've seen us on the losing end of it. And to me, that's just not good for the overall brand.
BJ, what about you? What do you think about this game?
I would say this is a tremendous test. If you look at it for the last 4 or 5 years, I think North Carolina Central is the winningest HBCU football program. And they're coming back. They are loaded. They bringing everything back, damn near. So I think that this is a test, right? And unfortunately, Southern hadn't done well with these tests in the past. We haven't done well with these tests in the past, and like Perry said, it's overdue. It's been since 2017 since we won the Division I non-conference game. That was against South Carolina State in the MEAC SWAC Challenge. We played them down in Baton Rouge. That's 8 years ago.
And
at
guys,
some point, you have to update.
Go ahead, BJ. I'm sorry. No, please finish.
At some point, if you want to continue to be called the Blue Bud, you have to update the resume. And this is time to update the resume. My dad called me before I came on with you guys, and he looked at our schedule, and he said straight up, he said, "Son, I think y'all looking 1-3 straight in the mouth." And,
Wow.
and because me and my dad, we always go back and forth, on the Southern Bama State thing, right? But he said, if y'all don't get Central or look well against Central, and you get lambasted by Central, you get validated next week, but then after that, you got Bama State and Fresno State. If you don't come out looking a certain way in that Central, you are looking 1-3 in the mouth. And that ain't the way you want to start the season.
Now, BJ, y'all schedule can be broke up into 4 quarters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you, I'll ask both of you guys. In this quarter of the schedule, what's accepted, what's expected, what's accepted, and what's a disaster?
Disaster is 1-3.
What's expected is 3-1.
What's accepted? I'm talking about, but these are just 3 games right here. That's the first quarter. Out
Oh,
of these 3
3-0.
games.
If you talk to North Carolina Central Valley, and Southern, listen. Now this is where it's gonna sound crazy to everybody, because if you ain't Southern, you don't understand the pride of your understanding. Every game, when you look at that, if it's a black college, that's supposed to be a W for Southern. Because if we're supposed to be considered the creme de la creme, he just said SWAC stand for Southern win another championship. If you black college and you're supposed to be the top in black college, which we're in the top 5 in most polls, it don't matter who it is. At Southern, that is supposed to be an opponent you can beat. So when I look at that, I'm seeing a black college in North Carolina Central. We're supposed to beat them. If they on the same footing of us, we're supposed to beat them. Valley.
What's acceptable though?
Huh?
What's acceptable?
2-1.
And then disasters, anything less than that.
Anything outside of 2-1.
And 2-1 gonna really have people feeling some type of way, to be honest.
Okay, now we can move on to this. Let me go over to the right screen so I can scroll the schedule, because I think this is interesting the way this is broken out. Okay, now you got these guys right here. This is the second quarter of the season. You got 3 games. Fresno, we kind of know what that was going to be, but then you got one that's a huge test, and then another one I think you should win. What's acceptable?
Rocky, at Southern, it's always supposed to be Jackson State. It ain't no, this was it's always supposed to be Jackson State. Never get that twisted. So anytime you see Jackson State on the Southern schedule, it's supposed to be a W next to it. So right there, supposed to be 2-1.
And Rocky, let me wait. Rocky, let me say something.
Go ahead.
One thing. Wait. Hold on. I just want to frame something. This year, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I see swag. This is a conference game.
Yes.
Yeah. This ain't no money game. And this game right here is also important because, hey, this is a game, as to what Perry's putting out. You lose this game, that's a conference loss on top of it. So go ahead. I just want to point that out.
And it affects the possibility of a host or not.
And more importantly, Perry, you know how this works. The last time we lost to Jackson State at home, the fan base turns on you for that. And if you lose the way that we lost to Jackson State at home 2 years ago, you're not getting them back either. Now, we in a close game and lose one close, they'll give you a little wiggle room. But if you are dominated the way that we were 2 years ago at Mumford, you're losing them and you're not getting them back.
But we just asked you a question. But that would be your 7th straight. But we just asked you a question with that. Is it even that? Because that would have then been your 7th straight loss to Jack State also. Does that not play into that factor?
It plays. I'm gonna tell you this schedule right here: Jackson State at home, Prairie View at home, FAMU at home. You got Bama State at home. This is the schedule that got the last 2 coaches fired.
Now this is my favorite quarter of the schedule. The third quarter of the schedule. This is my favorite one, and you guys probably know why.
Why?
Because it starts with homecoming.
Oh.
And that's gonna be a hell of a game.
This is also probably the Bishop's favorite quarter of the schedule on the Southern of Southern, because it has his beloved FAMU. In my opinion, as I look at this, either one of these teams could be playing for a SWAC championship this upcoming season. What's acceptable? What's expected? What's acceptable? What's a disaster?
3-0. I'll be upfront with you. I mean, bro, it ain't no way to sugarcoat this. With this schedule Southern has put together, this is a winnable schedule. Southern has played for championships year in and a year. It ain't like this is new for Southern, right? Southern's issue before COVID was Alcorn. Simple as that. Southern's issue after COVID has been FAMU and Jackson State. When you look at this schedule, because the way they made it, aside from Fresno State, we don't even have to break it up in quarters.
Southern fans will look at this schedule and say, outside of Fresno State, in all honesty, every game on this schedule is supposed to be winnable. It's supposed to be won. No doubt about it. Just in all honesty. And you're coming off a SWAC championship appearance after last year. Every game on this schedule is supposed to be a win. That's just the honesty of what it is.
It goes back to this, Rocky. With those home games we had, someone said Southern got all their big games at home. You do, and that's a gift. That's a gift and a curse, right? And those people that Rocky saw when he was there, I am telling you, Rock, the demeanor and them sweets change if you lose too many home games, particularly to FAMU or Prairie View or Jackson State.
Yeah, let me break in here for a second. And I hear my man Perry say these are all winnable games. Do you understand that you play in North Carolina Central?
Yeah,
That's not a winnable game. If you look at if you look at Southern from last year, and I know you're gonna call hater, and this ain't hating. I'm going to coach you up now. You look at North Carolina Central, which is one of the strongest programs in the last 5 years in the conference. Goes to one game away, and at least you did say that they went one game from playing in the national championship. If you think a team that went 7-4 last year and won 4 games by a total of about 6 or 7 points in games they should have won, and now you're saying that this year in 1 year that they're going to play a team that is a powerhouse that they should win, and Florida A&M and Jackson State. Do you really think that Southern University is going to change that much? You think the program is going to change that much?
You acting like
that they can play they ready to play in the top 10 of black college. Let me take that back. The top 5 black college football programs.
Southern didn't just come out of the ashes. Southern has played for championships consistently since 2013. We talking
but we talking about now. I'm talking about now.
19, 22, 24. We talking about 6. So if you played in 6 championships, you're playing top football. Because there's
no.
like Alabama State and Alabama A&M.
I'm talking about directly this football team.
Yes.
From the 2024 year is ready to play top 5 football. That what you saying?
I think most people who saw those posters who put Southern to win the SWAC West, they say the same thing. That
when you know I'm a coach, I don't go by those posts.
I don't go by, but it's a coach.
They had picked me number 6 or 7 in the conference, so I don't go by posts. I go by what's real.
I'm gonna do what you just did to me earlier.
Yes, sir.
You asked me a question. I'm gonna answer it. Yes. Southern has played this type of ball traditionally. Southern has just found themselves up. So what a SWAC championship is a top 5 matchup. There's no slouch teams making it to a championship. If you get to a SWAC championship, you're 1 game away from a national championship. It is a de facto semifinal game. It is a playoff game. If you've been in the championship twice in the past 4 years, yes, I'm telling you, Southern is supposed to be at that point of saying, if I'm going to play North Carolina Central, this is who we are. This is the type of games we're built to supposed to win, because previously we've been right there on the cusp of being right there playing for a championship.
And I'm gonna say to you that sounds good. And the teams on the west side has gotten there for just consolation. They happen to just be the best team on that side of the conference. But if you set the conference as a whole, that winner would sit where? What we talking about? They would sit behind what? Jackson State, Alabama State, Florida A&M. They would be number 4. Am I correct? So it's not necessarily that they're that good. It's just that's how the things fall. I mean, if we're talking real, I'm talking real.
Southern still had a better conference record than Alabama State and FAMU last year. Remember, FAMU lost to Valley and Prairie View, even though they beat Southern.
And they beat Southern.
It don't matter. You still lost more conference games. So what you're saying is do away with the divisions.
No,
and you won't just over it.
No.
The West is so weak. Should nobody out the West be playing for a championship?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying
No.
that because you can only play who's on your schedule. I get that. Don't get me wrong. But
Coach,
but
can I
when
step in here and ask
but
BJ?
don't put the pressure on Southern when you open up with North Carolina Central.
That's what comes with the job. When you get the
Can I
job
ask-
at LSU, at
Can I-
Alabama, at Texas, or at Ohio State, when you
Yeah.
get what's supposed to be the blue blood, that's what comes with the job. That the
That's
expectation.
why some of these coaches get let go for no reason and not having an opportunity. I'm on Graves' side, not having a opportunity to grow and build your program. On year 2, Terrence is playing number 2 team, number 3 team in the country.
We're number
Opening
5,
up the
number
season.
4 in the country. So what you saying?
Hey, Coach, now, let me ask you guys this, Coach, because I think, I want to ask you this, BJ, because when me and you had our conversation, none of these expectations were on Terrence Graves at the time. There was no, SWAC poll or no predictions or anything out. In hindsight, do you think the expectations that are put on this program, I'm not talking about Southern, I'm saying this program in year 2, do you think these expectations are fair?
Oh yeah, year 2, because people are going to feel like you had an opportunity to establish yourself, and this is what's made it tougher. The transfer portal. It's made it tougher for coaches. It used to be back in the day, man, you give a coach 4 years. He did get his time to get his players in. Now with the transfer portal, we're seeing programs be transformed overnight. And I think that's a part of it. We live in this microwave society where people want their results now. And I think coming off of a championship game ended up being the worst thing that ever happened for Dooley. Right? He came off a championship game. So the expectations of next year were championship or bust. Coach Graves comes to a championship game his first year. So now the expectations are sky high. And people don't care if the expectations are realistic.
That's the part I disagree with. I think he played great football. He made some great choices. I just don't think that a coach, and I get it with the transfer portal. I think you're right on with that. But I still think a coach should at least have 3 years to get his program in the right direction.
This is my issue, Coach. And you guys tell me if I'm looking at this wrong. Because I'm comparing everything to everything that I've experienced in the last 5 years. And so take that into consideration when evaluating this. In my opinion, championships have been won by players in this league. And when I say players, I'm talking about Shedeur Sanders. I'm talking about Irv Mulligan. I'm talking about James Houston. I'm talking about the linebacker. I'm talking about Nugget. I'm talking about McDaniels. I'm talking about those guys. Those who have won championships. And then we look at Florida A&M when they won. We're talking about the guys over there. We're talking about Musa. We're talking about Xavier Smith and the wide receivers out there, the other wide receivers that they had during the championship. Aubrey Miller plays. So when I look at Southern, maybe because I don't know their names yet, am I just looking at it wrong, Coach or BJ or Perry? Because that's who won these conference championships these past few years, and I just don't see those players on the Southern roster as I go down the roster. Am I missing something?
I think that this year will tell it. I think those players didn't have no name until they made it. And for you to win a championship, players are going to have to go out and make plays. I'm gonna steal Coach Cole words from him. Coach Cole would say in the locker room, the play don't care who make it. Make the play when it's your opportunity, right? And that's something that Southern's players have to do in the big game. All right. When you go out and you make the play against Arkansas Pine Bluff, that don't mean the same as making the play against Jackson State, right? We talked about how when Jalen Woods came in or somebody else came in, T-Sant, he came in, he had a hell of a game against Alabama A&M. And that was good. But you got to show up when the lights are a little bit brighter and all the attention on you. That's how you become from, oh, he's a pretty good player, to a household name. That's when you make that play. I mean, and that's how you do that.
Let me slide in again. Perry White.
Yes, sir.
Now read some of them stats out. We finished number 10 in this and number 5 in this. You know, and Rocky, programs win championships. Not necessarily. Definitely, you got to have players. Don't get me wrong. But programs win championships. Pete Richardson won all those years because Pete Richardson had a standard that he set at Southern University. Broadway won all them championships because he had a set of Nick Saban won all them championships because he had a way. And we all know that Nick Saban had different coaches every year. You know what I mean? Of course, he had some great players, but everybody else did too. Programs win championships. But
Coach,
when you read numbers to me off, we finished number 10 in this and number 8 in this. And then the next year, you're telling me that we're going to compete for the national championship?
It was only one category that was less than top 5.
Coach.
Okay, even the top
offensively and defensively out of 12 teams, Coach.
Okay, even
away from a national championship appearance last year. So my thing is that what you guys are talking to me as, and this is just honest conversation.
And don't call me a hater.
Kind of like one. Hey. Now let's be honest. You guys are speaking of Southern as though Southern just rose from the ashes. Once again, you guys are not listening to what I'm saying. Southern played for a championship in 18, in 19, even in that spring 2021. One loss. If you don't lose to Pine Bluff when you take out Ladarius Skelton in that game, Southern plays for a championship then. Dawson Odoms leaves. You don't play for a championship that year. 2022, 2024. Over the past decade, although they have not won, but won, they have played for 6. My thing is, you're talking as though Southern
they have represented the East for 6.
The West.
I'm sorry, the West. They have represented the West. And then when you look at the coaches, let's talk about the coaches over there. You have Jackson, you don't have Mickey Joseph, you don't have Favre. You don't have Ed Alcorn, you don't have McNair, who was pretty good, got some stability. Prairie View, look at the coaches been over there. Pine Bluff, look at the coaches been over there.
And you
it's been a revolving door.
That's my thing. You're saying like Southern is them. That's their problem. That's why they not sniffing championships. And we're going. Our issue is we just got to get over the hump. Remember the Buffalo Bills? You old enough to know. You know what's going on. Just because they didn't win the Super Bowl don't mean they wasn't a Super Bowl contending team. Southern is not just some trash team. It's just because to everybody else, everybody looking at it from the outside saying, well, when is Southern going to win them one? But shit, trust me, everybody is study hiring them coaches and firing them coaches because they would love to be in a championship just like Southern. I can assure you that.
Yeah.
But Perry, wait a minute now, Perry. I was with you until you said fire and hire because you guys just fired 2 coaches the same reason to get to the Celebration Bowl. So hold on, you all are in the same spin cycle with everybody else.
In the midst of that, we're still going to championships while the other schools are firing and hiring coaches and still not getting to a championship.
But see,
so the program is still in a good place.
But Perry, but this go back
to be better though.
But hold on, but I'm gonna talk. Listen, BJ played and you're down there. See, this goes back to my thing. The standard is the standard. This is why I want to have this show. And I'm asking you guys, that sounds good, Perry. But Southern does not just play to play in. I don't think this Coach Cole's point. Just to play in a championship. You all have not won
That's
since
not what
2013.
Coach Cole is saying. Coach Cole is saying we're not even championship contenders.
No, sir.
That's what you just said. Us playing against North Carolina Central, and they're this top 2, top 3 team, and you think Southern playing them in game 1, the expectations to say to go and win that game? Like, how can Southern's not a championship contender?
Now, can I represent myself? I'm 60 years old, my man. Can I represent myself? Let me say, I'm saying that the pressure on Coach Graves should not be a national championship. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying made the point clear. You go to a championship the previous year, you just made it hard for yourself. That's what comes with the territory. You a coach. If you go to the championship the previous year, don't you think everybody looking at Coach Cole the next year saying, we went last year, the expectation now is to go back and win it again. They're not looking for you to come back the next year.
But we're talking on a show. That's what fans always think, that you should win a national title. That's why on this show, my man Perry, and I hope you wish me to bring you on your show. We ain't talking about smoke and feathers and bunny rabbits in our back pocket. We talking real. We talking about numbers. And the numbers of that 7-4 football team is not numbers that you can we say, man, look, these are numbers that we're ready to take and start playing national championship football. That's what I'm saying.
Even with Southern making it to a championship last year, you're saying the numbers aren't there. But yet, if the numbers aren't there, we made it to a championship. If you can improve on those numbers, that's what we're talking about. That's what you're looking for in a coach year in through his progress to improve. So we can get to a championship with these numbers that you quote unquote don't.
I told my staff or my guys in mid-season, Jackson State gonna win the SWAC. Did I not? Before it was even over, because you can see the numbers. The numbers speak for themselves. I know your heart's in it and all that, but the numbers speak for themselves. I called it in the middle season. I said Jackson State will dominate because they got the dominating numbers, even though they lost to Grambling. But when you looked at the Grambling game, they had 5 turnovers, and the game was still close. And I said, well, shit, this is why they didn't win the football game. I said, they dominated. I think they had like 5, almost 600 yards total offense to Grambling's 200 or 300. I said, well, damn, they dominated the game. They just turned the ball over. And look at what happened. They dominated everybody on out to the end. And went on to win the national title.
I think we all looked at that, because if you remember when we started, I said I didn't have expectations of going to a championship.
That's what I'm talking about.
Year 1. Okay, but the fact that Coach went to a championship, you cannot tell the Jaguar name. Once again, I know you're going to say it ain't about, it's the coaches, it's this and that. But remember who going to hire you and who going to fire you. Remember who going to get you out the door when people not happy. He just said the same thing happened to Dooley. At Southern, once again, this is a place that is unique when it comes to fans wanting something out of their coach. And if you're going to give me a taste of a championship, don't take it and then I don't get to taste it again. I want to taste it again. That's the expectation here. And I'm just speaking about here. It's different in other places. Some places
I got you. You talking family, you talking about the expectation. You talking about what I want. I'm telling you about facts.
Everybody who get hired here as a head coach at Southern, when you come through the door, you understand what it is. It don't come as a surprise.
I get what you're saying. I definitely did, and I respect it. You know, I worked there before. I know the expectations, but here on this show, we talking numbers. We talking expectations as well, and me, I'm not putting that expectation on Coach Graves, even though he won't come on my show. Will I think he would be? Will I think he'll be good? Yes, he should be good.
So
yes, he should be good.
What numbers would you like to? What numbers do you want to talk? Offensively or defensively?
I think if he finished 74 like he did last year, I think he's done another great job for Southern University. Winning the national championship, we need to just start a potluck, send him some money for winning that. I just don't see it.
I think it goes back to, we kind of jumping all over the place. We just started with game 1, and we was talking about North Carolina Central. You gave North Carolina Central this hype because you said what this program is. And what I'm saying is don't knock the Southern program either. What I'm saying is Southern is no slouch of a program. Southern's issue is just getting over the hump. But at the end of the day, we've been knocking at the door one game away from a championship in the de facto playoff game, which is our SWAC championship. It is a different story when you're talking about programs who have not been to a championship.
I think programs that win consistently, they got continuity. And I think when you start changing coaches, you start losing that continuity.
Let Campbell get in here because I think he wanted to respond to something that you said, Perry, about. Did you, Mr. Campbell?
Well, I think Perry. I like the argument, Perry. Well, let me ask you a question because we were on the show. We did tiers, right? So, and I think so I'm gonna ask you on the question. Do you believe that Southern is on the same tier based off of going into this season? Based off on the same tier that people are projecting North Carolina Central to be on. And they're projecting them to be a conference champion.
They got North Carolina.
Okay, so you know how we did. Okay, you know how me and you on the show with Lionel. We did tiers, SWAC tiers. And you had Jack State on one tier by itself, me and you, and then you had Southern FAMU on the next tier. If you put all of those in that same gumbo pot, do you think that Southern's on the same tier with North Carolina Central?
Considering we judged that tier coming off of last year, coming into this year, yes, because Southern and North Carolina Central were in the same boat. They were contending for a conference championship to get to the Celebration Bowl, and they lost the game that could have got them there. They both were one game away from playing for a championship. If North Carolina Central beats South Carolina State and Southern beats Jackson State, we're talking about a rematch of a national championship game for game one.
BJ, do you see things the same way?
Huh?
I was going to ask BJ, does he see the current Southern program on the same tier as the current North Carolina Central program?
No.
let me ask BJ. Let me ask my man Perry something. Perry,
that's his opinion.
Let me ask
okay
Perry.
with his opinion.
Let me ask Perry. Do you think that Southern last year was on the same stage as North Carolina Central?
In terms of what?
With good teams.
Southern, the problem with Southern last year where the respect wasn't there because we saw how close the games were to the opponents. But at the end of the day, regardless of how close it was, you won the games. And for me, winning is everything. You win the game, you win the game. It don't matter how it looks. If it's pretty or if it's ugly.
I look at it. I look at it different than Perry.
I want to hear you on this.
I look at it different than Perry.
Yeah.
I was taught this. You dominate who you're supposed to dominate. And then we judge you based on what you do on equal footing. In the equal footing games, Southern did not look good. Whether it was Jackson State, whether it was FAMU,
McNeese,
whether with Nichols, McNeese, Southern did not look good. I judge you based on that. Now we can talk about conference record. We beat slid by Prairie View. They fired their coach. He's out. We slid by Texas Southern. First year coach struggled to win 3 games. We beat Arkansas Pine Bluff. We beat them handily, but they didn't win many games. Struggled to beat with two win Bethune-Cookman. I look at that and I am process oriented. If the process ain't right, you can't get to the end result. And what we did last year was threw some in the air and hoped, and it just so happened to work out. There has to be a process. So I look at it from the standpoint of I look at what you do and who you do it against and the manner in which you do it, because that tells me where you are from a program. I don't want spray and pray. I want a process. And the teams that win it have a process. Jackson State's process is we're going to play dominant defense and we're going to run this football. And FAMU, when they had Willie Simmons, their process was dominant defense, play action pass, limit mistakes. North Carolina Central right now, their process, dominant defense, ball control offense. We go get a block kick, a block punt here and there, flip the field on you. What's ours? And that's what I'm looking to see in year 2. To see do we clear that up?
We still at Southern. Don't know what quarterback we gonna get on. We still at there. I know we Southern. We are Southern. Look at my man over at Prairie View's schedule, and of course he comes with a wealth of winning and championship. He's got a feathered schedule. He's given a chance that first year to make some things happen, get his feet on top of him. It so happened that Graves got his feet on top of him, but he wasn't synced in the sand yet. And I think if you guys put that on him just because we're Southern, the name don't play. Pete Richardson, it is gone on. Dawson is gone on. It's the Terrence Gray program now, and I just think that pressure on him is unfair. I think he did a great job, and we'll sit this year and see what it goes. But if I was a betting man, I would not bet on Southern to finish in the top 5 in black college football. Just because he just been there for 1 year. I'm not betting to say, I know the mystique of Southern University. I know they walk in there and they bringing them fans and them bands and all that great stuff. But give him a shot, man. Give him a chance. To grow some hair on his chest. I just don't see them being that type of program.
It just went back to what you said, looking at the conference. Look around the conference. How many coaches in this conference has been at their school for 3 years or more?
Not many.
Eddie Robinson. Name me another one.
Does assistant coach count? Does assistant coach count?
I just said name how many head coaches.
No, but does their time as an assistant count?
I think the dude you said have been there 3 going into year 4.
Who?
Only Eddie Robinson.
Are you saying he's been there 3 years going into 4?
Eddie Robinson is it.
It's only 1.
And then you got Alonzo Hampton coming into year 3.
And so is TC.
Across the rest of the and TC Taylor. Across the rest of the conference, it is fresh.
And you agree with me. No, you ain't beating North Carolina Central. No, you ain't beating South Carolina State. No, you ain't beating Jackson State. No, you gonna struggle and not beat Florida A&M.
So this is my point.
So if we ain't beating them, and you know how Jaguar Nation is, Coach Cole, we
have a conversation with them, BJ.
If we ain't beating them, then people gonna say, then what the hell are you doing? This is Southern. This ain't Arkansas Pine Bluff. This ain't Alabama A&M. This ain't Texas Southern. This ain't. So this is Southern. And one thing I learned about following HBCU football, there were 3 places. Somebody told me as a little boy, if you can't go there and you can't just go and just kick a little ass, you got to do it. Southern, Jackson State, FAMU. Them 3 places. If you can't go and bring them people hard, well, don't go.
That's all I'm saying.
Don't go.
Yeah, I get it.
Let me ask you this here, BJ, because this is kind of, I understand Perry, what he's saying. Perry's saying the mystique of Southern, the expectation of the fan base, and I understand what he's saying, but at the end of the day, Southern and Terrence Graves is playing arguably the best coach in black college football. That's the matchup.
You can make an argument for that, yeah.
That's the matchup. So what Trey Oliver has done as a coach at NCCU, Terrence Graves ain't touched none of that.
He had a chance to.
No. I get it. Perry, I'm not. What do you mean?
I'm just saying, how can you make this thing? It's like y'all so over the place. You're going to put him in that category, the man in year 1.
No, I'm saying, why do you expect him to win that game? What I'm saying, why do you expect him to win the game is why I'm asking.
BJ just made it plain and clear to you. And that's what I've been telling you the entire time. It don't get no more simple than that. BJ, repeat it and say it a little louder for the people in the back.
Because
their expectations is to win those games. The standard is the standard.
My man DeBoer at Alabama, even though Nick Saban is gone, they on his ass. Brian Kelly at LSU, they are on his ass. It's just certain places that's different from other places. And I get what you saying realistically, Coach Cole, for sure. Being a coach, a former coach, and understanding, you the one got to go in that room. You the one got to recruit those kids. You got to call those plays. But guess what? If you don't recruit the kids and you don't call the right plays, your ass is up out of here. And we're looking for the next person that's going to get us where we need to go. That's what's happening across the conference at every school.
And it happens at Southern quick because you got to think since Odom's, we on coach 3. Odom's just been on since 21.
Hey, Rocky, and my man Bishop, make sure now these two said it. Cole didn't say it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
If TC Taylor at Jackson State did not keep up because they got to expect. Let's not act like it's just Southern and people saying, well, it's just Jackson State got expectations too. Ask them why they went through all them damn coaches coming out of the 2000 before we got the COVID. They wanted each one of those coaches to get them there. That's why they went to Dion. TC.
Man, they made some bad damn decisions, man. Just like Stump Mitchell. They just made some bad damn decisions.
But the expectation for the fan base was still
there. You know what, Perry, hold on, Perry, I want to ride on what Perry's saying. Because, Perry, you know what's funny of what you just said? I just had literally a mirror in my face. Cozy's facing the exact same thing.
There you go.
The exact same thing. And you know what's funny? And PJ knows this. And you know what's funny? Let me tell you what's funny about Southern, because Jack State's in the pole position. And what I like that TC, he got his thing going. And you can see that thing going a long way. But because of who has come before, because Dion was an anomaly, you know what I'm saying, on that. So TC is a Jack State guy. But when you're talking Graves and Cozy with Willie, and we come in the SWAC and we're doing this, and we lose the value, So now, it's saying our schedule is just like, our schedule is a mirror. We got all these home games. And you either going to be a national champion or you going to be coaching softball. One or the other.
Boy, y'all making the unemployment line already going to be long.
Wait a minute. But I'm going to go to Perry's point. But with that being said, there's a level of confidence that I think Coach Gray and Coach Cozy, because they went through that fire. Cool. And they know what their standard is. I know Cozy has recruited his ass off. I'm listening to you guys. I feel better about what Southern's done on the recruiting part and things like that. Now, the question what I think is, which my original question is the level. What level is Southern when we put them in that tier? Because we had this blue blood comment, which we're not about to have right now. Right. But the thing why I think that game is so important, to your point, Perry, is for Southern. If Southern's going to be Southern, they have to beat Central.
Let me say this. Let me say this about this channel here. That all that sounds good and who's supposed to win and because I'm this and I'm that. This channel, Bishop, and take one out. We talking about facts. We looking at numbers. We got things behind. We got a statistician to see what's going on. And I get it. Hell, I wish Texas Southern would win. Texas Southern going to the national championship. Because I love the school. You know what I mean? I know in hell that ain't gonna happen. Not now, not tomorrow, not next year. But that's all I'm saying. But I get it, Perry. I get it, man. I worked at Southern before. I know their expectations are high. I get it. I'm not arguing with you on that point. I'm just arguing with you from a coach's standpoint that I'm Terrence Graves. I jumped in, man. I made some decisions. We won some damn football games, man. I'm looking at my football team. I looked at the numbers that we did last year. Where are we at in recruiting? Can we repeat that? That's what it is. And in your second year, Chennisberry did some great things in South Carolina. But you just don't see that a lot. That a coach come in and bam, I win a championship. You know why? Because it never happened to me. It never happened to me that I took over a bad program and didn't win. Shit. Hell, I went to Lane, never had a winning season in 25 years. We went back to back.
Coach, you were never given a job.
I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is. And
Coach,
that's all I'm saying for Coach Gray. And guys, you guys are right. Southern, Florida A&M, Jackson State, the expectations is to win. I don't give a damn who they hire. I get that part.
Coach, let's put Chittis Berry's. Chittis Berry did a tremendous job. Tremendous job. But let's be honest with the job he took over. He took over a team that 2 years before had won a national championship. He didn't take over a perennial cellar dweller.
And it had been a coach that was there over 20 years. And the program was winning.
He took over a cellar dweller at Benedict because everything he did at Benedict, they did for the first time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this, Rob. You asked the question. You said it's Southern in this tier, and because you had to ask that question, it ain't an automatic yes. That's a problem for Jaguar Nation.
But my history in this is short. I only have 5 or 6 years in there.
But I ain't talking about just you. I'm talking about people who are in this HBCU space that know HBCU football. When the answer to that question ain't an automatic yes, when people got to go, at a place like Southern or a place like FAMU or a place like Jackson State, I'm telling you, for the people who write them checks, that's in those donor books, that's a problem.
You know what, BJ? It sounds like you know a little more than what you really saying. You in them back rooms. You and Perry in them damn back. Y'all in the back rooms, and we ain't gonna talk about that. I get that. I see. Hey, they damn near said, hey, I can say it because I damn near said, look, boy, we're in a bus.
I just want them folks off my boy back, man. Look, Terrence Graves is one of the most genuine human beings that you can ever meet. Right? Yes, hell of a football coach. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you. And me and Perry talked about it. He was treated unfairly by a lot of our fan base because of he was on the previous staff. He was treated unfairly. And the only way that coach is gonna be able to get them people on the side is he gotta win the big game, man. He gotta win the big game. He can go 7-4 this year and miss a championship, but those 4 losses, it gotta be the right 4 losses. Because I'm telling you.
And what made it rough was because they brought Dooley in as the supposed to be the son of Pete Richardson, right? Oh, he was around in the great years. Coach Cole, show me that ring again, Coach. Show me where that ring at. Where's that? Yeah, they said that's what was coming with Dooley. With the ring, they gave the man a medal to put around his neck when they introduced him as the head coach. Pete Richardson gets up and shakes his hand. Now, BJ know just like I know, I wasn't a fan of the hire. I thought it was a homeboy hire. I thought it was a familiar hire. I didn't think what Southern was going at that time. You hired a coach that had not beaten the previous coach ever. You hired a coach that had not even every year Prairie View talked shit to Southern. Southern found a way to make them cry on the sideline. Then you go get the guy that was crying on the sideline to be our coach. And it sounded good at the time because you know why, Coach? Everybody says he's familiar with Southern. He was here under Pete Richardson.
If he can do that at Prairie View.
Well, not necessarily at Prairie View, but the main thing was he was at Southern with Pete. Long as you associate
that Pete Richardson dust on him.
That's it. It ain't got nothing to do with Prairie View. It got everything to do with Pete Richardson.
Okay.
So you had a certain base of the fan base who's still stuck in the 90s because Southern do have fans that cannot leave. They think the 90s was 3 years ago. They can't let that 90s go. The newsflash, 90s was 25 going on 26 years ago.
Just 30 years ago, bro. 30.
Yeah, there you go. 30 years ago. So because of that, you had a certain sector of the fan base that was like, hey, this is going to bring back nostalgia. This is the good old days. And he builds a staff of plenty of guys who either played at Southern or coached at Southern. It just brought back 90s vibes again. And what was the 90s vibe, Coach Cole? Show me that ring again.
Hey, there it is, baby. There it is. This is 93. 93. So
when Dooley comes in, because I had this back and forth with fans, and I was almost about to get pushed out, like the Outcast. I kept saying, I don't think this is going to work. I'm like you, Coach Cole. When you said last year you didn't think Southern was going to go somewhere, I don't think this is going to work. Dooley found himself in the championship. My man Scotty said every time, we backdoored our way in it. Why? Prairie View went on the road and lost to Mississippi Valley. Texas Southern went on the road and blew a 2 minutes.
Andrew Body got hurt.
Against Alabama A&M.
Yeah. So then Southern beats Grambling and finds themselves in the SWAC championship.
And that don't happen for 100 years, Coach. Something like that don't happen. You had 3 teams about to win the championship, and all of them lost, but that don't happen in 100 years. That Saturday, that was crazy. Hey, look, I'm happy. I'm thinking we're going to go to the SWAC championship. You know, I'm on this channel, and I'm like, ain't that a beat?
So, you know, you do all of that with Dooley, and you already got, and listen, that higher real life was tearing apart a fan base because it was pitting fans against each other because some fans said, man, I thought we could have did better. We should have found somebody maybe outside.
Ed Reed, Ray Lewis.
Somebody, you know, all the names was out there. And it was like, well, we went and hired a guy who we just familiar with. So it was tearing the fan base apart. Then he comes in and he gets to the championship, like you said, a 1 in a million year thing. Then he comes back the next year, and then he does what he did. The man didn't even last 2 years in Baton Rouge.
But let me ask you guys this about the Grave hiring. I thought it was a financial. Well, first of all, Terrence Graves got plenty of coaching attributes. Been on championship teams. I want to make sure I say that. But wasn't a financial? You still had to play Dooley 300.
Coach, let me add to that. The AD, because listen, and Coach, we talked about
it was a financial hire.
Dennis Berry, Trey Oliver, the guys that had some ties or people knew could, and their AD said, and then, you know, of course, Scott and them and the people in that world was like, let's hire some superstar. And the AD said, we don't have the money to hire those guys. Period. Right. He said it.
Because you're paying Dooley out. You signed him to a 4-year, then you paid him more than what you was ever paying Dawson Odoms, and then you fire him out there 1.5 years.
Right.
So then you had to pay him, and then
he's still cashing those checks.
I think we went ahead and got
him.
They
paid him off, done.
I think he got it. Yeah, I heard he got his last check.
Yeah, he done took that to the Gucci store already. that done already got swiped and spent a little bit.
Hey, let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys this, because that brings up. Do you have? Because Southern comes across as this. It's okay to win and be successful like Odoms was, or even like Terrence Graves was last year. But do you have to? Because it seems like with Dooley, they loved his style. They loved, like he was he Southern in that way?
They loved his style at first.
It sounded good.
They love his style at first. But if you come through with a whole bunch of style and no substance, you're done. And he was done quick. I think one of the things that caught Coach Dooley off guard, you can't go in these post-game press conferences at Southern and say stuff that you can say in other places. Because our fans are very knowledgeable about football. And one of the things that got Dooley in trouble was the quarterback position. You kept trotting out, what's that kid name was? McCray. And he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, right? And then you get into a championship game, and Bubba McDaniel throws for more yards in 1/2 than you've had thrown for the whole year. And people ask you this one question, Coach, if you had done it all over, would you have? And he said no, because our process is our process. When he said that, the time that it would, there were people that wanted him gone that night. And the next year, you come in, and then the program had discipline.
He played everybody though that year.
Yeah,
he played everybody but the water boy at quarterback.
You remember Rocky, when we went to the MEAC Challenge in North Carolina Central and Norfolk played, and we went to the interview at the end of the
it was FAMU. It was FAMU.
Oh, FAMU, yeah, FAMU in Norfolk.
Yes.
And what did my man say, Coach Dawson say? He said, "Yeah, we didn't beat the champions because they was champions last year, and and
But
we
we
rushed the
played, but we
ball.
played
We
good.
rushed
We
the
ran the
ball
ball
up and down the field, but we just didn't win the game. What did I tell you, Rocky? That would
You
be his
said that's
last.
you said that's not a good mentality.
Not when you go, not when you pair on
When you
your
lose the
fourth
game.
year. You're on your fourth year.
And-
Damn, a victory of a moral victory.
Not only that, Coach. I think what kind of frustrated you, Coach. They lost the game, and they essentially had a chance to win the game right there on the goal line.
1 yard line.
And if you can't run it in from there, can you really run up and down the field?
Yeah, they couldn't get 1 yard, and they lined up with 4 wide out and ran the RPO, man, and they ripped that quarterback's. I just put my head down, and when he came in, and he was he was upset, but he was kind of celebrating that they rushed for 275 yards. I shook my head and said, "Man, that ain't gonna get it done. You saying the wrong thing. You've been there 4 years. You supposed to beat Florida A&M that year." Because he was a new coach at Florida A&M. You were supposed to have your program, like I was just talking about Graves, and he ain't there yet. He in year 2. My man was in year 4. You supposed to win those football games.
Hey guys, before we get you out of here, because I think this is very important. And first of all, I appreciate you guys. I want to ask
you kicking us out of here?
Before we get you out of here, because I want to make sure I say this before we get you out of here. Because I think this is another part of what we're talking about. You guys, as they say, forget the East, you play in the West. What teams are you guys looking at from analyze that? I know you guys have went over the West and rankings and things like that. Because first of all, I gotta say this: those folks down there in Prairie View are chirping. I am not, and I do. First of all, do y'all even consider Prairie View a rival of you all's? Or okay, I just want to clear that up. Okay, I want to clear that up. But who are you guys looking,
Campbell?
Huh?
That's some new shit going on with Prairie View. I don't know where that's coming from. That's some new shit. They talking crazy now. We ain't used to that. Like,
well, hey, listen, I was like, I had to get my popcorn. I was like, okay, Prairie View, they got Grandma got a shook.
Well, let me tell y'all something. Y'all two Southern Jaguars. This one of my proteges at Prairie View, and he ain't just talking. You guys better be ready to damn strip it up, lock it up, and get them mouthpieces in, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm taking Dion's word. They coming
in year 1. Okay, hold on.
They coming
in year 1, Coach.
They coming. They coming.
To go where? Where they going?
They coming, Coach.
Where they going is what I want to know in year 1, because we've been talking.
But I'm gonna let you in. No, hold on. Let's go back. Looking at the team that you guys have to face to get back to a West, but they got you predicted, and by a wide margin. As a matter of fact, your margin's wider between the second place team, but then Jack State to FAMU. So looking at the teams, let's talk about some of the contenders. Alcorn. What do you guys think about Alcorn? Let's start there. We'll kind of go through the contenders. Both of you guys. What do you guys think about Alcorn and your challenge of beating Alcorn?
I think the thing about Alcorn is this. I think a lot of people asked for Cedric Thomas after Fred McNabb stepped down.
Lost to Texas Southern. Lost to Texas Southern.
Yeah. Lost to Texas Southern. Yeah. And this is my thing about this thing about Alcorn. Kind of go back to us. What's Alcorn's identity?
Yeah. Well, I could just say, because I've been around a lot longer than you guys, is they play great defense. They play great defense, and they supposed to be sound on offense.
They weren't either last year.
Football game.
I didn't see any.
They weren't either last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, guys, the next team. Let's talk about coach's team. Texas Southern. Chris, this is my second year. What do you guys, when you guys play them, what are you looking at BJ and Perry at Texas Southern?
I think the biggest thing about Texas Southern has been a thorn in Southern's side since 2019?
And Alcorn. Alcorn. They beat Alcorn the last 3 years.
Texas Southern has some pieces over there. And that's a game that you have to take seriously, and you can no longer overlook if you're Southern.
Ain't Texas Southern 2-1 versus Southern in the last 3 years?
Perry might know that.
No, Southern's 2-1. We beat Texas Southern in 23 and 24.
Andrew Body is the only one I remember beating Southern.
We beat them 24-0. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We were supposed to beat y'all, and instead of damn taking the safety, we got the punt block. You're right. Yeah. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
Now let's get to the team that said
they're going to get in on some of this.
No, I'm asking Perry. Go ahead.
Alcorn and Texas Southern.
Yeah, well, come on, Perry, please. Yeah, go ahead. Go Alcorn and Southern, Texas Southern.
Well, I look at Alcorn last year because I know Coach Cole. He like his numbers. So, Coach Cole, I got some numbers for you because they went 6-6 and 5-3 last year. They best victory. I mean, their worst victory was 55-0 to Vanderbilt. But you look at them offensively, and you said offensively sound. What we've known Texas Southern, Alcorn in the past to do is to be able to run the ball, physical up front, physical receivers on the outside, and typically not necessarily a game manager, but a playmaker at quarterback, whether it's with his legs or with his arm. Alcorn did not have that last year. They were 7th in scoring in the SWAC, 21 points a game. And remember, their fans had issues about the offense that they were running last year early on. That was the big knock on them because they were saying, what the hell is this? They were 5th in total offense, 346 yards a game, but they still can run the ball, which is why Jacoby Sewell is all SWAC. 2nd in the conference in rushing, 197 yards a game, but guess what? They were horrible at. Out of 12 teams, they were 10th in pass offense, 149 yards a game. Now, the other side on defense, they couldn't pass the ball, nor could they stop anybody passing the ball. They were, well, no, this is not right. They was not 12th, but they wasn't just necessarily good. They was around the middle of the pack in the SWAC and pass defense, but they was 8th in rush defense, giving up 175 yards a game. They were 7th in scoring defense, giving up 28 points a game, and 4th in total defense. Then you look at the games that they lost last year. But then look at what they have this year. They beat who? Did they beat Grambling last year?
No.
Okay. Did they beat Texas Southern last year?
No.
Did they beat Prairie View last year?
No. They stopped the street. Then Texas Southern stopped Prairie View Street last year.
I'm talking about Alcorn.
Yeah, you talking about Alcorn.
Don't worry about them.
It's easy to get them confused because, both of them ain't seen the SWAC championship since COVID. They ain't played it. But I think for most of all, Cedric Thomas, considering the exit for Fred McNair and the way that it happened, and it just seemed like there was the same way I would put them with that Eric Dooley thing. It was like a fan base kind of torn, like they was seemed like they was kind of tired of McNair, the same way Southern fans can say they was tired of Dawson Odoms, doesn't it? It was like, well, now it's time for something fresh. Well, Cedric Thomas, here's a guy who was here before as our defensive coordinator. Why not bring him back? He knows the program. We think he can do it the right way.
And he was the defensive coordinator.
And he was already, So he comes in after being away and comes in, and now you tell me Alcorn didn't have no expectations in year one.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely
They definitely
did.
Yes, sir. They shouldn't have fell off.
They shouldn't have. But I will tell you this, but they went 5-3 in conference last year. I will tell you this, though. Considering what Dishman did at Texas Southern in year one, caught my attention. Early on in the season, considering how they played against Lamar and some other teams in terms of non-conference and coming in to win game one to beat Prairie View for the first time in a decade.
Yeah.
That turned my head. They went 5-6, 4-4. There are some things Texas Southern can build off of. One of the things Texas Southern's going to have to build off of, they're going to have to find some consistency at quarterback, being able to throw the ball. They
started got hurt in the first game against Prairie View, another team, and he was out for the season, but he's back now.
And you still had the kid that was the SWAC newcomer of the year before at quarterback.
Yeah.
Chase.
Chase,
They have to find ways to win games. Remember, they just went 4-4 last year. That's
good. That's extremely good for Texas.
It's extremely good. Yeah. Now, Coach, I got some stats for you with Texas because I know when I hear you say Texas Southern, you like to use that word we. I didn't hear that about Southern. No, it was y'all. But Texas Southern, he likes to use we. So I'm going to tell you what y'all did.
Coach played quarterback at Texas Southern. That's why.
Huh?
Coach played Texas. He could play quarterback at Texas Southern.
I get it. I just, he was just that we word though, because he was taking that we, but then he was talking about those other schools, but Texas Southern.
See, he was in diapers.
I don't even know if I was.
No, he wasn't even born, Coach. He wasn't in no diapers.
Yeah, what year was this, Coach?
Man, 81 through 85, man.
Oh, my mom was.
Yeah, Coach, I was born in 85.
Yeah. Hey, you probably was born when I hung them six TDs in one night on Valley.
Perry, keep going. Keep going, Perry. Keep going. Keep going.
He about to toot his own horn, my bad. Hey,
keep going.
That's SWAC history, though. We got to know our history to know where we going. And
how many did the satellite throw? Just for record.
Huh?
How many did the satellite throw that night?
5.
I swear I did.
But go ahead.
But respect it. But looking at Texas Southern has to get better defensively. 8th in scoring, giving up 29 points a game. They were 6th in total defense, 353 yards a game. 9th in rush defense, giving up 175 yards a game, and 5th in pass defense. But I think one of the things that really hurt them, I could talk offense and defense, but what killed them against Southern, that game that they had in their grasp? Special teams. Once again, when I talk about teams, Southern is good defensively, not so much offensively. Alcorn last year was just kind of like, Texas Southern, but what made Jackson State stand out from everybody, they played all 3 phases of the game. And if you're going to be a champion, which you saw that stand out in the championship game against South Carolina State, you got to do that. Now, Mr. Campbell, I come to you because you get it. I know you're trying to get us up out of here. But
No. I want you, bro. We cooking.
But for FAMU, because listen, I know we talked this Southern expectation. FAMU did not want to lose to Valley. And they did not want to lose to Prairie View. Matter of fact, I don't even know how Cozy didn't get fired after that Valley game. I mean, because Valley fired their coach, and that was the biggest win they probably had in years. But what seems to be the identity for FAMU coming out of year 1 with Cozy going into year 2? Because it does not seem to be the same offense Willie Simmons was rolling, but Richardson still was one of the better quarterbacks. FAMU still does not seem to be able to be a dominant team to run the ball, and you still have the athletes defensively to go out and, in my opinion, you can finesse most of the SWAC and what FAMU has been doing.
Well,
did you know that Pitt FAMU had struggled all year in scoring in the second half? They struggled all year. Richardson was the top guy because it wasn't really no standout quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
Because they couldn't score in the second half.
I'm gonna answer. This is simple, and I'm gonna give Coach Cozy credit. When you come in the way he came in, he had to take what he had. Joseph Henry, which going to Coach's point, was not a good offensive coordinator. He lost the Valley game. He lost it, not FAMU. The offensive coordinator did. We got Henry Burris. I think he's gonna be great. I think Cozy has a quiet confidence because now he's got his staff, and I think that means a lot. And also last year, he had to rush into it. And Coach, you know this, when you got to rush to set things up, set your practice up, who's going to do what? That's never good. Now, Coach made him sit back, look at what he needs to do. And I'm going to tell you something. I talked to a lot of people in Tallahassee. There's a quiet confidence, and there's also an expectation because the schedule's set up, but also the talent, I think, has been upgraded, especially on the defensive line, because that was one of the biggest things. Defensive, offensive line, we didn't run the ball well. We did not stop anybody. And that was 2 things I know we looked at. So I can tell you this, for me talking around people that's around Coach Cozy, there's a quiet confidence. If they can figure out that quarterback spot, they'll be right back rolling because the talent is there. Now, I want to get back to you guys on the West. The big chirpers in the West, for both of you guys. Coach Cole's protege, Prairie View. They say Atlanta, that's what they're singing down there at Prairie View.
Yeah.
And so what I want to know what you guys looking at, because I tried to get out of Coach. Hey, Coach, who's going to be on your team? Who are you recruit? He said, Campbell, I can't tell you that. You're just going to have to watch. But with that being said, because we're going to go, because we're not going to talk about UAPB. We know what that is, because last school we're going to talk about is Grambling. But what do you guys think about what Prairie View can possess and what they're going to do in the West?
Well, let me
I think
ask you
Prairie,
two. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think Prairie View is a dangerous football team. I'm a fan of Coach Jackson.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
He was one of the guys that when we were looking, he was one of the guys that I circled because of the work not only that he did at Valdosta State, but the work that he did at his previous stops prior to arriving at Valdosta State. And I thought he was a young guy, has some SWAC experience, but then has a track record. He's one of those young guys, and you didn't have to pay a lot to get him from Valdosta either. So that's one of them guys I was like, yeah, that's somebody you got to look at. And I think that they are going to be a dangerous football team. I've always said this about two programs. If Alabama State or Prairie View ever figures it out from a football standpoint, you're going to have to do more than hire a coach to catch them. You're going to have some cranes to come in and move some dirt and get a football coach to catch them. They worry me. They concern me.
Yeah.
I like Prairie View, me personally. And when I say I like them, who's won the West since COVID? It's been Southern and Prairie View.
Southern and Prairie View, flip flop.
It's literally been flip flop. I think they lost faith in Bubba. It seemed like the program went the opposite way of what the fans wanted coming out of last year. I think Tremaine Jackson is a great hire considering what he did at Valdosta State. Valdosta has always been, in my lifetime, a perennial power on the Division II side, right? They have a history of winning, and the fact he was able to go there and keep that going. Great steal for Prairie View to get him there, and I think he is a guy that can build it. Now, I'm going to go back to what Coach Cole said initially, what we talked about. In year one, now the problem I have is my man Lionel is out here selling 2025 SWAC champion Prairie View shirts and hoodies. Coach, that's that expectation you saying is crazy, and I think it's crazy too. I think it's damn crazy.
Man, that man ain't selling no 20. Is it, Coach?
Oh, yes, he goes. Yes, he is.
He's selling them.
And I saw what
we didn't make that up.
And I saw what he tweeted you, Mr. Campbell. So I could not wait to get to this point. Because he tried to act like tonight's show because it was Southern like next. No, man. We got to Coach Cole, this man is selling 2025 SWAC champion shirts. And guess what he walking around here wearing? 2024 SWAC champion shirts, Prairie View. How much of a lie is that? But I think the expectation, and like I told him on the show, this is just all jokes aside. I said, man, I think Coach Jackson, I have a lot of respect for him. I think he can build at Prairie View, but I do understand for what he's going to do there, I will give him year 1, 2, 3 to get it where it's going. I don't have the expectation in year one for him to say Atlanta. Me personally, I know that's what you want for the fan base because you're trying to build something of a fan base who's not used to something. I get that. But at the same time, I do understand back to what you said initially about all of this. A year one coach having to build something. And I think the type of coach he is, there's a process to what he's going to have if he's looking for a program and not a one-hit wonder at Prairie View.
Let me piggyback off of this. This is one thing he got in favor. And you said it earlier. He comes with a pedigree. Do y'all understand that he's been a head coach longer than everybody in the conference?
Yeah.
He's got more head coaching experience than everybody in the conference. So he ain't coming in finding where's the bathroom, who's this. He coming in already knowing where things at and what to do and where the soft spot at and where the hard and where we need to improve. So he's way ahead of everybody. Because you just said it, Perry, when Southern was winning the championship. Yeah, we won a championship because nobody in that conference on the west side has been a head coach over 3 years. So you saying what I'm saying. So now we're taking grades being the first time. It's a difference, guys, between an assistant coach and a freaking head coach. It's a difference, believe me. because it all falls on your lap, from how you warm up to how you order uniforms to what day you come in to where we're going to start it. It's just a big, what is your philosophy? What do you believe in? You know what I'm saying? So this man has put together his system. This is what we doing. When on day one, this is where you go. I know where you are. This is from day one. And he believes that, coach. And I got it. I work with this young man. I know he can hunt. He's a dog that can hunt. He gonna go find them recruits. He gonna go turn over them rocks, man. He ain't gonna be no different than Deion Sanders. Besides, of course, he's not Deion Sanders when it comes down to recruiting and finding them places. I'm telling y'all now, he's a dog, coach. He's a dog, and he gonna have them kids playing.
This is what I question about Prairie View, and you guys can answer this question. Can you be a championship program with a fan base like Prairie View? It doesn't seem like you can when you're going up against fan bases like Southern and Grambling and Jackson State and FAMU. Can you be a championship program with a fan base like Prairie View?
If you build it, they will come.
They will come.
Was you around when Frazier won it? Or any of y'all
was there when Frazier won it. Yes, sir.
Coach, when Frazier won it, I went to the game in Birmingham, Alabama. They sold out. They sold out the bar. It wasn't. They said we ain't got no more drinks to give you. We ain't got no beer. Only we can serve you is water.
Let me tell you something, Rocky.
It was crazy.
It's tough when you got a fan base that had to endure what Prairie View had to endure. Since 1965 up until now, do you know Prairie View has only had a total of 12 winning seasons? My mom was born in 1965. She's a grandma now. All right, 1965 to now, they've only had 12 winning seasons and 1 championship and 3 championship appearances. Considering, do you remember what Blackshear used to look like? I'm asking you, Rocky. Do you remember old Blackshear?
Yeah. Hey, they had some things back in my day. They had some things in Prairie View that didn't have nothing to do with football worth going to travel and see. You hear me?
Blackshear was like going to a 2A high school football stadium, right?
It was a pasture.
Nobody really cared.
It was a pasture.
It was definitely that. So now what you're trying to do is recreate. You're trying to energize it. And that's the difference when you look at the Southern, the FAMU, the Jackson State fan bases. Those fan bases have long histories of somebody coming in and igniting them. Prairie View has not been ignited. Then think about it. Once you get that championship with KJ Black and Frazier, what happened after that? It wasn't consistent. Then when Simmons comes in from being offensive coordinator at Alcorn, he damn near gets them into the FCS playoffs. What was that, in 2015? They got overlooked. He stays there. He jumps to FAMU, which shocked everybody. You going to FAMU? Mr. Campbell, I know that was one of the greatest days.
Yeah, they did shock FAMU, folks.
He's a Florida guy.
20 years.
Man, he's a Tallahassee Quincy guy.
Yeah, he's a Tallahassee guy. That was writing on the road. That's just like Sam Shea going to Alabama A&M. Shit, we call that. When did we call that one? We called that one before the season was even over. That was a perfect fit.
And it was the shot in the arm FAMU needed, and FAMU expectations have gone up tremendously since then.
Yeah.
And he brought that expectation back, then duly kept it going. Now Prairie View is looking to get over the hump, but what Prairie View is looking for is consistency. And I think if they can get consistency, you can slowly draw in a fan base to be. But when you losing the Valley consistently, that's an issue there.
Yeah.
Now,
the thing with Bubba McDowell and why Bubba kind of, and I always say, I know Bubba on a personal level. I'm one of the greatest human beings I ever met. His problem was, just like we talked about, when the cameras come on, you got to be able to say the right things. Yeah. And his thing was, I told the coaches, my coaches are playing the wrong people. You can't say that as a head coach. What you mean your coaches are playing the wrong people? And I had a talk with him about it, and I was like, hey man, look, hey, they setting you up either you need to get them or they gonna get you. And unfortunately for Bubba, they came and got him. You know,
Media training would be good around the conference for our coaches too. I think media training, because that was one of the things, Dooley, when he got here, you may not have to deal with so much media coverage and media in your face at Prairie View. When you come to Baton Rouge, you got every station in Baton Rouge, you got New Orleans, and then you got the likes of folks like us who are going to be asking you questions. And you just said it like I did, BJ, and I hope all y'all heard it. Every single time, and you heard the story did not change. What was Dooley problem? Getting in front of the media and saying the wrong thing. Coaches have to be able to get in front of the media and not necessarily say the right things, but don't piss your fan base off. Yeah. You got to be a politician, Coach. Coach Cole, you said the way I listen to you, sound like a pretty good politician.
Coach, you can say what Coach, hold up. You can say what you want to when you do what, Coach?
Win, baby, win. Win.
Hey,
I ain't never had a problem with winning.
I'll tell you this. Prairie View 2009. Look at everywhere that fan base went. And even in 2010, when KJ Black came back, that fan base from Prairie View was energized. Now it's dwindled since then. This is one thing that I'm excited about when it comes down to Tremaine Jackson. People talk about what he did at Valdosta State, and people will try to attribute to, well, that's Valdosta. Before he got to Valdosta, before he got there, he was at a spot in Colorado.
Colorado Mesa.
Colorado Mesa, right? That had come on some hard times. And he turned that program around. You know, he got it turned around. He came on down south. A young man that's only 2 years older than me, with a 40-12 record as a head coach. He's done it everywhere. He's proven it. And he proved it at one place. They said you can't win it, which was Colorado Mesa. I think that Prairie View was a sleeping giant. And they got some big things brewing over there at Prairie View.
One thing he got, BJ, he got a hell of an athletic director.
Yes.
And he got a hell of I mean, they spend a lot of time together. They know the system. They know the direction they go on. And anything that he need, man, they go after it and go get it.
And they answer emails over there.
Hey, I ain't too high on how they operate at Prairie View either. I had my issues with them last year, so I'm kind of on the fence with that, Rocky.
We need to put you on our team because we don't have no problem at Prairie View.
They get the woman down there. The woman officer down there. Yeah, now, guys, listen. Hey, now, Perry, I know because you know what I saw you kind of when I say we don't have to talk about UAPB, but if you want to give us 30 seconds on UAPB, because the one thing I cannot let you guys leave without talking about Grambling. So Perry, BJ,
Perry, did you play at you played at UAPB, right?
I transferred here from UAPB. My mom graduated from UAPB, and I'm from Pine Bluff,
right.
So my thing with UAPB, even though I'm from there, I always want to make sure that, you know, for my mom's sake, because she gets sick of the shit with them losing. My mom damn near a Southern fan now. She like, hell, I'm going where they at least win some games at, you know. So my thing with
people don't know that Coleman was there for 12 years and had 10 losing seasons and 2 SWAC championships.
You know, and then I'm from the days, even growing up, I ball boy for UAPB when Lee Hartman was the head coach. I was there when Coach Morforte came in 06. Well, before 06, but he took him to the championship in 06. I've always wanted to see UAPB do good. I remember my first experience in the SWAC came from UAPB when they joined the SWAC in 97. I remember when Coach Cooley and UAPB got the death penalty, and Cooley got the gunslinger, got up out of there. UAPB brought the program back, and they went and played for an NAIA national championship against Central Oklahoma State. Then they ended up joining the SWAC with Alabama A&M. And in those early years with UAPB with Lee Hartman in the SWAC, UAPB was a tough out for any team.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like over time, it just went down, it went down, it went down. And we know after so long, when you lose a fan base who is dying off, it's hard to replace it with a new fan base when you're not winning because nobody cares to watch your games or go to your games.
And the crazy thing about it is the high school that's right across the street is a state championship football high school.
Which one? Because you got a couple. I went to Pine Bluff High. You got Dollar Weight right there too, both of them.
Yeah.
So my thing with UAPB has always been, what do you want? What is your expectation when you hire a coach? Because we've been talking high expectations from the FAMU standpoint, from Jackson State to Southern, and even Prairie View is in this conversation now, right? But it's like for UAPB, and I got to ask you, Coach Cole, as a former coach in this league, looking at a place like Pine Bluff, where some would say, I know we deal with low resources as a whole, but it just seems to be a little bit tougher at UAPB. For you, what seems to be the issue from a outside looking in of a team that went 3-9, 2-6 last year, and picked with their coach in his third year? Alonzo Hampton, as a head coach overall, has only won 8 games as a head coach, and that's from high school to college. And yet in his third year, they're still picked at the very bottom in the SWAC West.
Here's the problem. They're actually choosing a coach that's coming in and trying to learn on the. You gotta be able to bring a coach in there that has won a championship and know how winning looks, where he can come in and he knows how to build a championship program. Those schools make the first thing black schools say is, "Oh, well, we can't pay a top-notch coach." Some coaches just want to be head coaches. You got to go out and choose a coach of what our program needs. Do we need a startup guy? No. We need to be able to hire a championship coach because this is what we knew. We don't need a startup guy. This guy was the tight end coach at Louisiana Monroe, which was the worst Division 1A program in the country. So what was your expectations when he came in there? Are you want to start over and build a program, or do you want to come in there and a guy knows what to expect, knows how things look at? And schools repeats that all the time because that's how they end up with perennial losing programs. Like a Texas Southern, like a Edward Waters, like a UAPB. You know what I'm saying? Even they get these guys and they really ain't vetting these guys right of what do we need? What do we want? Do we want a winning guy? Do we want a winning football program? If we do, we got to go get one.
Because is it a red flag that this coach is the second longest tenured coach outside of Eddie Robinson? But in year 3, what are the expectations when your team is still picked at the bottom of the SWAC West? And I mean, and you're right there near Valley, and probably the worst team in the conference.
Until to me, HBCU colleges bite their teeth in these football programs and understand that this is the biggest ambassador. This could change your whole outlook. When you go back, you look at A&T, you look at Florida A&M, you look at Jackson State, you look at Grambling. These schools have made commitments to their football programs, and that's why they consistently win. You know what I mean? In the SWAC conference. And we talk about this on our show a lot. And guys, I've been around black college 30 years. It's all of a sudden when you win, it'd be like, oh, put them in Stofers. When you lose, man, put the mugs in 6. Instead of 3 buses, no, we got 2. But if you jump off and win, man, you got 3 buses, you got steak, you got, your team. It's like these colleges put money into the program on, let's see what they're going to do. We holding this money. Oh, man, they ain't winning, man. We ain't putting no money into them.
But is it worth having the program then? If you're not going to properly invest in it, is it worth having? Because I'm looking at UAPB. If you're going to give away 6 figures, hire me. Hell, I'll do whatever the hell you giving him to do. I can get you 6 places.
Now y'all heard that the SEC is going to leave the NCAA. In the year 2028, they looking to leave. To me, we need to go ahead and go back to the NAIA if we ain't gonna put the money in there. You know what I mean? When we in AIA, we ain't had no rules. So shit, we everybody can come in and play. You know what I'm saying?
What you're saying? Because in the grand scheme of the conversation, when I look at the SWAC, we mask ourselves as Division One, but in actuality, we not actually doing Division One stuff.
When it comes
we mask ourselves as it though, but we don't want shit to do with FCS and Division One, do we?
Right.
We only care about, we want to win a conference championship. We want to win Black College. But so it's masked that way. So I look at programs like the UAPB. If I'm not going to take it serious, why are we wasting the investment of the money that we are already low resource? We could be using that money in other places to strengthen something else.
And I've said it for the longest. You take the Black College games, the big games, your classics, all your classics, and put them in a 6 to 7 week package that we know that people gonna show up, tailgate gonna be great, all that, and go sell it to the markets and make. Of course, we're not gonna get $1 billion, but I damn sure we're gonna get a whole bunch of millions. And I ain't talking about no 50, I'm talking about 100, 200 or 300 million. Because we buy shit. Everybody know we buy stuff. Everybody knows Black folks, from women to hair. You getting them hair sponsors, you getting the Cadillac sponsors, you getting the Popeyes chicken sponsors. You see what I'm saying? And I'm talking about, $500-600 million TV package that we can sell to our schools, and we can help your Prairie Views, your Mississippi Valleys, and have a grandstand of SWAC, MEAC football. If you want to name it the SWAC. But I know we getting off. We getting off.
No, I got to do this. I got to do this, and then we're going to talk about Grambling. I'm going to say this, and you guys are going to stand it. If I'm UAPB, what you saying, well, we're not investing. State of Arkansas give UAPB they $330 million that they owe. State of Louisiana give Southern they $1 billion that they owe. State of Florida give they $2 billion. A&T get they $2 billion. See, we can't sit back and say people not investing when you stealing my money. Because I guarantee you, every one of these programs you talking about, Perry, if y'all had $1 billion, guess what? You would beat every FCS school in Louisiana. If we had our $2 billion, it would be a team of 4 that fam you wouldn't beat. You give A&T their money, they'd win the CAA with that $2 billion. You give Alcorn their money, they wouldn't have no problem. You give Jack State their money. So my thing is, it's easy to say that, but when we're getting cheated out of hundreds of millions of dollars, that's just the facts. I just had to put that out there.
Well, if we getting cheated out of hundreds of million dollars, we damn so blowing hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's like, what is my investment in return? Because this is an investment when you put this into. You set aside of money for a coach and everything else. That's an investment because, like he said, Coach Cole said, you are a head football coach at an HBCU. Aside from your AD and your school president, is probably going to be right there in top 3 highest.
They make more than SID. I mean the AD. The head coach makes more than AD.
On top of that, is supposed to be your biggest marketer. This person, everywhere they go, is selling the program more than a recruiter, more than anybody else. On top of, I got a stadium that's supposed to make money from concession to apparel,
parking,
every damn thing. It is the overall investment, and you are a business owner. You're not going to invest in something and don't get your return. If you do, you're going to cut that shit loose and you're going to reevaluate what we got to do to make a better investment. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, then you may have to leave that whole thing alone altogether and redirect in a whole nother way. If I get it, we getting cheated, and that's our part as alums and everything else to make sure our voices are heard through the election process of people who are representing us as far as state reps, governors, and everything else that's supposed to be on behalf of the school. But at the same time, we still operating, so we must still have something. And if we're going to invest our money, we got to make sure the investment is right. We can't keep taking these losses with nothing in return and keep dishing the money out, because I can cry about what I don't have, but I got to be able to have what I used to, like my mom told me when I was young. When I was young, I didn't know. I'm not saying we was poor, because we wasn't. We were just average. I thought living in a brick house was something like you had money, but we appreciated what we had. We took care of what we had. You couldn't tell me what we didn't have was, I thought we was up there. But it wasn't until I got into life, I'm like, oh shit, there's a lot more to work forward to, but we appreciated what we have. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
I have meal every day.
But like I said, you know,
clean. Huh?
these, you know, they will tell you when you talk to ADs and stuff that the football program doesn't make money, but I disagree with it. You know, I got a nephew who played with the Cleveland State, and the president told him every time they interview you and you tell them you from Cleveland State, that's more money than you can get. So I would say the same thing to these ADs and stuff about the program don't bring them. Every time they line up and they play on television, just the advertisement they get just for that, just for saying you got a football program is bigger than ever. I just think that we need to get together, the MEAC and the SWAC, and go try to sell a package like Notre Dame did, like the SEC did, and I think we could do the same thing. We just got to be able to come together and be able to work together.
And we need
Here, what board member did Alonzo Hampton know? Because I know who was up for that job, and I know their resume. And if we just blind, we take all the names off, no pictures, no nothing. Alonzo Hampton ain't getting that job based on resume. So what board member he went to church with?
I don't just
Because usually that's how we do that.
Remember, UAPB is under the University of Arkansas system. And
Okay.
do we need to peel? Should I say more? What you think that board gonna look like? I think it was whoever was gonna take the money, the salary. He seemed to be the one. He's an Arkansas guy. He's from Warren, Arkansas.
I could name at least 10 coaches that probably could have done a better job.
I believe Broderick Fobbs would have took it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, some guys just like being head coaches.
He's a championship coach.
Sound like we need to be on the UAPB search committee because hell, maybe we can help him out because I have an issue with it, and I know he may have an issue. That same thing that you said with Coach Graves with you, Coach. I'm sure in Pine Bluff, because I get on the radio that they invite me on the radio there all the time. And I always do this. I hold the fan base accountable before I do the coach. Because I said, y'all the ones let this shit happen. And then you constantly letting it happen and nobody's saying nothing. Nobody's putting their money up. You just allowed, it's that conversation where people say, I'm just waiting on them to do it. No, wait, what about you, the individual? Yeah. They have allowed the university to do that. And when what people say, if you don't care, why should I care for you? I'm gonna do what I want to do if you ain't gonna hold me accountable. And I think that's what's missing.
Damn, this sound like me and Roman Banks.
Let's see, here we go. Here we go. All right, got Grambling. Let's get to Grambling. Your rivals, the G-Men, I-20, Exit 81. Now, we talk about the standard as a standard. What do you think? Because now, you know what's funny that I've not heard anybody talk about? We talk about pressure with Graves. We talk about pressure with Cozy, even Eddie Brown. But the one part I have not heard that this pressure should be on is Mickey Joseph.
I plead the fifth. He my friend.
Well, there you go.
No,
so what do you got?
No, Coach. This is what you signed up for. What you say on my channel? This is what you signed up for on your channel, Coach.
So, BJ, what do you think about Grambling and their outlook and what they need to do? Because they are the ones that have the most SWAC championships, 25.
I would say this is the roughest part of Grambling football history we've ever seen. Grambling has never gone 4 years but without a championship, not in no period. They are in what year? This is going to what year 8? Like it's been a long time. They haven't won one since 2017.
They played last time they played in 17.
17. It's going into year 8. I think apathy is setting in for Grambling, and I think there's going to be some expectations there that football team plays better. They've had some talent. They've had some talented kids to come through that program. That linebacker last year, man, they've had some kids, and I'm pretty sure the people want to see improvement. They want to see Grambling compete for a Western Division title. I think if he competes for a Western Division title and it looks like the program is moving in the right direction, they'll be fine. But if you have another year like last year, folks will get real antsy.
And I think they did beat Jackson. They did beat Jackson State and beat them convincingly.
And I think looking at Grambling, they dealt with the Dooley bug last year. Offensively. I know we've said that name enough, but they dealt with Dooley last year. They were 11th in total offense near the bottom at 282 yards a game. They were 10th in rush offense, averaging 111 yards a game. They were 9th in pass offense, 170 yards a game. But
Perry, they had the number 1 quarterback in the conference.
Coach,
Miles
let me be honest with y'all, because I know that's Coach's friend. I don't want to say nothing. He didn't have to hire Dooley. I'm just gonna say that because I know on good authority, he had other options.
So
and offensive coordinator, huh?
Why did he do?
Coach, why?
Well, you know what? Hold on.
That's your friend.
No, wait. No, I'll take that. No, I'll take that. Listen, let me tell you, because I was down there. I sponsored ground during those championship years. Dooley was with Devontae Kincaid and that offense with Mr. Excitement Marquez and that wide receiver. Dooley was dialing it up. Listen, so it had nothing.
It could have been said it was Kincaid with plays breaking down, making plays himself.
Well, with Kincaid was not around there. Kincaid was a pocket passer. He was not around there running around like Steve.
Yes, he was.
Have you watched his highlight reel?
I went to every game. Perry. He was not. He did not have over 500 yards rushing.
No, he ran around and threw darts.
Yeah,
thank you.
He rolled out of the pocket and allowed plays. Receivers broke off the route.
They still had
you call it in coaching. He extended his plays when he had to.
Yeah, but what I'm saying,
that's a nice way.
I'm just saying, dude. There was. Well, my point was there was a fondness of remembering that was the championship era, the last one. Dooley was the offensive coordinator. He still had goodwill up there. That was one of the reasons too. That I know the Grambling people, because I know a lot of them down there was not. They didn't feel like, oh, we don't want Dooley. So I think they thought he was going to bring that magic with the Devontae Kincaid years.
Sound like Southern, don't it?
Yeah, but didn't they quarterback was preseason all conference?
He was supposed to be the preseason all conference quarterback.
But let me point this out to you guys, because you talked about Southern winning those close games last year. Grambling was the complete opposite. Grambling was knocking at the door. Let's go through it. They lost to Prairie View 36-34 in overtime.
They should have won.
They lost to Texas Southern 24-17 by 7. They beat Jackson State, the only team in the conference to beat Jackson State and beat them soundly, because, Coach, you said the amount of turnovers, 41-20. They lost to Alabama A&M by 5, 22-17. They lost to Bethune-Cookman by 3, 24-21. They lost to Alcorn State 17-15 by 2, and they lost to Southern by 10. They literally was knocking at the door last year in every ball game. And on top of it, let's go back. They beat Alabama State. Yeah. They just couldn't get over that hump, and that was why I was talking about Terrence Graves finishing games. And at the end of the day, that's all you want to do is finish the game on the winning side. Unfortunately, Grambling finished the game on the losing side, but they were right there knocking at the door, showing, hey, we here, we just can't finish. And I think that's what Coach Joseph is going to have to find out this year. Can this team finish games and get over that hump? Losing games by 7, 5, and 3, and 2. You right there in the ball game.
I mean, Grambling, you lose to a Bethune-Cookman, man, and you struggle all through, and you coming off, he didn't take over a program that was out of his luck. He took a program from Coach Jackson that was supposed to go to the next level. I guess that's the big thing. The expectation was so big on him and he came with a pedigree, from Nebraska, national championship with LSU, recruiting guru. I guess the expectations was high. And that's what I was just telling you about Graves. I think the same thing happened to Mickey Joseph, that it ain't easy coming in being a head football coach. So, unfortunately, but like you say, I like it. If I was a Grambling Knight and I got him returning as the head coach, now you talking about some expectations. His expectations are high. I think on his contract, he's got to win 8 games. So looking at the schedule, do you see 8 games?
Ooh, let me pull that schedule. Hold on, let me look. They got
You ain't gotta
Langston
look, no.
University in game 1. What you got? W?
I can save you some time. No.
You think they're gonna lose to Langston?
No, they'll beat Langston.
Ohio? Well, never mind. Kentucky State.
They'll beat
Think they
Kentucky
gonna beat Kentucky State?
Yeah, they'll be able to beat them like they stole something.
So they
East
2-1.
Texas A&M. You think they're gonna beat them?
Who?
Who?
East Texas A&M.
Yeah, they should beat them.
Yeah.
They should
That's
beat them.
3-1.
Now, do they get past Prairie View?
No.
I hear the Tremaine Jackson talk.
Well, I'm going with Prairie View.
Rocky, what you think?
This is where business picks up.
No. So here's the deal. I don't think they can. I don't think they can beat Prairie View.
Okay. Next week, Texas Southern.
They should beat Texas Southern.
Wow.
They go to UAPB.
They should beat.
Yeah, we can say yep.
So y'all talking about 5-2 at that point. You talking about 5-2.
All right, now Jackson State in Vegas.
No.
Jackson State gonna roll craps on them.
All right, now you got Sam Shade in Alabama A&M.
5-3. Now that's the team.
That's the one. That's the one.
That's sitting over in the corner, and you like, well, who is that? You know what I'm saying? Now that's the team. Now I can just only go by my experience in watching Sam Shade as he took Miles College and won like he's supposed to. He won a state title in high school, came there. He has a system. Again, he's been a head coach longer than most everybody in the conference, even though it was some in high school as well as college. But a head coach is a head coach. He's a winner. He won in high school, and he won the SIC championship. So you can't definitely sleep on him up there. He's going to have a solid football program.
I think Alabama A&M. I think Alabama A&M is going to be better on the back half of their schedule than they are on the front end. And the reason I say this is this: Alabama A&M hadn't been physical and played defense in some years since pre-Cornell Maynor. Sam Shade is a defensive guy. He's a physical guy, and they're gonna run the football.
And they're gonna
he's changing the culture. It takes a little minute, but I think once Alabama A&M, I think mid-October back, I think that is a dangerous football team.
BJ, how well did you know Andre Jones, the head coach, when he was there, when he won the SWAC championship at A&M? He was the same
coach. Yeah, he was the same way.
He was the same way. Great special teams. He had one of the best defensive coordinators. With Towns. They used to shut folks down, and they ran the football.
Is that back when they had what years was this? The early 2000s?
From 90, we played them in 98 at Tennessee State. But Towns had been there for a while. He had been there for a while.
Towns was there for like 30 years.
Yeah. So he was.
This was when the Luke brothers was there, Kelsey Luke.
Yeah. Braxton Towns D coordinator then. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you remember that 06 year, they had the number one defense in the country.
They played UAPB in the championship that year.
Yeah. And yeah. So
if they scored 13, you lost.
Since this is my show, I put about 50 on them though every time I played them. So
you said A&M is going. So we still on Grambling. A&M gonna beat Grambling at Grambling.
Hell, they did it the last time they went to Grambling. They beat the hell out of them.
All right. Now we got the last 3 games of the season for Grambling, and I just lay them out there.
So where we at with him? Is he 5-4?
5-3? Yeah. Was it 5-3 or 5-4?
It was 9 games.
5-4.
Okay.
Prairie View and Alabama A&M gives him 4 losses.
Okay.
And wait, y'all say Grambling gonna beat Jackson?
No. I said it gives him 4 losses.
Okay. All right. Now the last 3 games. Bethune-Cookman at home, on the road at Alcorn, Bayou Classic.
Shit, he might get his 8, guys.
I got him 7-5, 5-3.
You see how he did that, BJ? He slid that in there, didn't he?
Because you know in the classic, the record don't count. So he might squeak it out. But Bethune-Cookman and shit, them wins there, coach.
Yeah, okay.
Them wins
Bethune,
there.
let me tell you something. And since the Bethune been sweat and Bethune before they got the sweat, what is Grambling? 1-4 against Bethune? Maybe.
The question is, will Woody still be the head coach at that point? Is the question.
Oh shit.
Oof.
know.
Man, that's a whole nother show, man. That's the hot seat show.
Hey man, Teddy Bridgewater.
We need to have that late in the season.
Might leave Tampa Bay, go right over there and coach the last 2 games, Rocky. He'll take off the jersey for Tampa Bay.
That might be his bye week. That might be their bye week.
Yeah, I got him 0-3.
And you ain't talking about no game. You talking about bye.
Nah, yeah. 8. Ooh. Nah. So what is that, Perry? What is that?
I have them 7-5 overall and 5-3 in conference play. I got losses to Jackson State, Southern, and Texas Southern. I think Texas Southern's beat them, but they playing Texas Southern for homecoming. But I think Texas Southern sneaks them out.
Wow. Well, that's what he gonna need. He definitely need that.
I tell you this. Here's the thing: as we know, all 75s are not the same. If he ends on a 3-game losing streak, them Grambling folks gonna be Grambling. Yeah. If he gets in there and it's they get that 7 win against y'all or Alcorn, I think everything will be fine. Because as you guys know, we had 75, and that one loss to Valley threw off our whole schedule. So one loss, I know and the Grambling folks, because I'm gonna say this again, and you guys know this, and it's kind of like I have never seen the Grambling people. They don't have the expectation anymore, like BJ said. I've never seen Grambling not have the expectation.
Well, let me ask you.
Talking Southern, Jackson, FAMU, and we ain't even mentioned Grambling in this.
Hey, let me ask you this: How does Mickey Joseph escape the criticism of being inexperienced when he's never been a coordinator on any level, and this is his second full-time head? He was interim at Nebraska for a while, and this was his first year. How does he escape the inexperience?
He was head coach at Langston.
Yeah, he was the head coach at Langston.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Did he have success there?
Yes.
He was in the middle.
He's the person that built Langston.
Yeah. No, it was Johnson.
Yeah, he had some good years at Langston too.
Yeah, he had some good years, but he came behind Johnson.
Yeah,
he came behind Johnson.
I got a question for Mr. Campbell before we get out of here tonight, because I want to know what the hell is going on with this Atlanta game with Mississippi Valley and FAMU.
Let me answer that. The official line for Florida. This is not our game. This is Valley's home game. Please direct all your questions to the Mississippi Valley AD. And that is the official line. And that is a fact.
They're not relaying anything to y'all, because I know you got
it is not our game. We know that we will either be in Itta Bena or we have scheduled the plane to go either way. That is the official line.
Is it considered a classic? Like
no. This is not please, this is not a classic. This is no classic. This is a game that Mississippi Valley has chosen to partner with to move from Itta Bena to Atlanta.
All right.
Have y'all heard about the Grambling Langston game in Shreveport?
Yeah,
that's supposed to happen.
Okay. Hey, Rocky,
right here, Mr. Campbell. Can I be a little messy?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
All right. Well, what happened to Birmingham? I thought they was giving us Legion Field, so that would have been a great place.
Wait, hold on.
If Valley was looking for a place, I would have took Valley. I would have said Valley. Hey.
Well, I got in trouble with certain powers that be, because I said when they said they were gonna move y'all game in Jack State, that wasn't gonna happen. And folks at a higher level said what he know, and I knew what I knew, because y'all were never gonna play in no Birmingham. That's what I knew. So let me say that.
I just want to know what happened to Birmingham.
I'm gonna say this. Wait a minute. Listen. I'm gonna say this again. It is Mississippi Valley's home game. If they want to move it to Birmingham, they just got to let us know when to show up, because it is a SWAT game. We have to be there.
Yeah.
So unless the game is in Africa, We will have to be where they want to put it at. And that's all I can tell y'all.
Hey, guys. Hey, man. I hate to end it, but
No, it's time, Coach.
yeah, I'm just trying to find out why I can't be on y'all shows, man. BJ and what?
Oh, Coach Cole, you got an
Reached out
open
to me one
invitation to
time, Coach
HBCU
Cole,
Nightly.
you brushed me off.
Hey, man.
I sent you a message on Facebook one time, man. I told you I was a big fan, and hey, he kind of brushed me off like, I don't know you, nigga. He did me like that. I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe one day he'll get to know who.
Maybe he's not that familiar with the Facebook.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
The technology, Coach Cole. I'm gonna get your number, and I promise you, I have you on my show. I promise you, because I have enjoyed. And first of all, before we get out of here, man, hey, thank you guys for allowing me to come on, man. I watch you guys all the time. You know, I do my
Definitely
thing,
appreciate it.
Man, I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I think that's why we've gone on. This feel like I'm at the barbershop or we outside playing spades, shooting and shit, talking. I have thoroughly, really enjoyed this, man, and I appreciate it.
Where can they find you, Perry, before you get out of here, man? Where can they find you?
Oh, Jaguar Journal on 107.3 FM in Baton Rouge, or you can go look that up across all social media, as well as on YouTube and my own thing, On the Yard Network. Of course, you can find that on all social media as well and on YouTube.
Hey, they still eat the Chicken Shack, man. Chicken Shack still working?
Chicken Shack and the Blue Stove, baby.
Yeah, and the Blue Stove.
Boy, I used to love the Chicken Shack and the Blue Stove, baby. It was on and popping, baby. It was on and and we were winning too. Hey, we were winning too. Some of my old ex-players, high school players that Pete Richardson coached, we were thinking about trying to make a game.
Come on, man. Prayer.
Yeah, definitely come down, Coach.
Yeah.
Look at Rocky. He like, yeah, Coach.
Hey, whether Coach gonna be there or not, what they say, if something, if the water don't rise and the creek don't flood, I'm gonna be there at homecoming this year. I don't know what that saying is, but you know what I'm talking about.
And you know, I got to put a shout out, man, to Sean Wallace, man. He was a great one, Coach. He was a great one. He's a Southern legend, man, and you know we always got to shoot a shout out to him. He used to do it, Coach, and I had a pleasure being on that staff, and he was a super and fabulous, not just a player, man, but a player that played from his heart. So I just wanted to make sure I say that before we got off.
Hey, wait a minute, Rock. I got one thing to say. This show was my idea because I knew how brilliant y'all was. So let me be clear. This was my idea because I said we're going to do this Tuesday show because I know how brilliant y'all were and I knew this was going to be epic. So first of all, BJ, I want to thank you and how much, you know, me and you have talked on the side, how much I respect you and what you guys doing. And Perry, you know you my guy. You like a son to me. You know I love you and how much. And man, I knew this was going to be great. And I'm going to say this one last thing. Now, Southern folks, get off my back. Because we brought the Southern, they said we talk about Southern bad on this show.
You know, y'all some haters. All y'all some haters. BJ, let they haters, boy.
Hey, BJ, go ahead and tell us where everybody can find you, and then after that, we can set. Hey, will we all be able to hook up in Atlanta in a couple weeks, man? That's what I hope we all can sit down and break bread and do something.
Now I'll be in Atlanta. I'll be in Atlanta on the 23rd.
Hey, Rocky. I'm picking everybody up in Escalade. We all gonna ride together, get a drink together. I got a big one.
Hey.
TV there, BJ.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Us young folks say.
Listen, we doing it.
Go ahead, BJ. Tell us where they can find you.
I got you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at HBCU inside HBCU F-ball. HBCU Nightly is our platform. You can catch me there Sunday nights. We doing our thing. Me, Josh, Erica, and the crew. And Coach, we'd love to have you on. Coach, my dude, man. Coach been knowing me since I was 16, 17 years old.
Something like that. Look, I'm gonna call my brother and make sure I let him know.
Oh man, I ain't seen Coach and Coach Hill too. He in Atlanta, so I gotta go.
Yeah, he in Atlanta.
I gotta go holler at Coach, man. I gotta go holler at
defensive coordinator, man.
Yes, sir. Cold-blooded football. Cold-blooded football.
Is Clark in that? Is Clark? Well, they probably wouldn't be starting their season that early, no way.
Yeah, they open up with Valdosta in Birmingham.
In Birmingham.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah,
man, that's a good one. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
yeah. And they got the quarterback from Jackson State.
Yeah, I was impressed with that when Coach Keaton told me that. That was surprising that they let that guy get out of the SWAC. There must be some big time NIL involved in that, or this could be some other things in Atlanta that could entice him to come there as well. They say the chicken wings are pretty good in the A.
That's like how you put that one. I like how you put that one.
Is that where Mr. Campbell taking us to get some chicken wings?
Hey man, look.
Hey.
Hey, listen. I'm too. Listen, man. Let me tell you, I got a simple rule. I don't go to no woman's place that I can't cut her lights off. So I don't go to no place where I don't spend no money. I can't cut your lights off. So I don't know.
Hey, fellas. Hey,
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Where he gonna take us where Thick 36 said they.
Hey, listen, and guess what? We better cut our light off too. That's what if I do.
Man, y'all bad, man. Y'all bad, coach. Y'all bad. Y'all bad.
Appreciate
look,
y'all,
man,
man.
appreciate y'all.
Thank you, man. And,
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. And look for y'all got my number 334
Don't put your number
318
out there live, man.
1141. It don't matter, coach. Look,
I'll make sure both of y'all get it.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
send it to me, Rock.
Send it to me.
All right, we'll do. All right.
All right.
yeah. All right, boy.
All right, coaches. Hey, it's time for you to do your thing, coach. If you can remember, they got something to do with tie knot and hold on tight. And I'm out of here, guys.
Yeah. Man, it's been a great show, and we got to get 4 hours, man. And as I always say, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot and hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you.